Hello, friends, and welcome to an Unexpected Podcast. We are 1 week removed from the long-expected party. I honestly can't believe that it happened. It definitely felt like a dream. I saw folks on Facebook posting that it felt like a dream. They weren't sure if it really happened. I was one of those folks. I remember at one point Lane was walking a tightrope and ballerina dancing at midnight while being serenaded by two beautiful elves. So it was definitely surreal, I think is the word. So, but yeah, just an amazing experience. I seriously can't stop thinking about it. Every once in a while, I would just pause and take everything in. Be looking around the backyard, and for example, I was one of those times. It was getting darker, and I'm looking around the backyard, and over in the corner, underneath the welcome tent, I see this ranger just sitting there, kind of taking everything in. He's staring right at me, and he's smoking his pipe, and he's kind of watching the gate there for us. So shout out to Kev, and it was just hysterical to see him back there. You didn't think I saw you, Kev, but I did. Okay. Speaking of shout outs, so I'd like to give a huge shout out to Nate, our good buddy Nate, for capturing some awesome footage, helping us with the live videos, recording conversations in the studio. He was running around like a crazy man, and it was actually a lot of work, and he took some photos for us and just did a really good job. So thank you Nate. We really appreciate it. Also want to give a shout out to our chef, our good friend David Fogel, who prepared all the foods. We had some just delicious smells floating around the house, back on the in the backyard and in the patio. We had smoked meats. We had mac and cheese. Gosh, we had some nice lemon cakes, all sorts of good stuff there. So thank you to him, because he worked. I mean, he came Friday morning and worked on the meats, and then we did some chicken the next day. So it was just awesome. So thanks to him. Also, I'd like to give a good shout out here to our buddy Chase McKinney, Lord of the Mark. He's awesome dude. He showed up willing to help, ready to go, and we actually, Lane and I had talked before the party. We really wanted to capture some audio from the party, and we wanted to give the uppers a chance to come into the studio and record. So I asked Chase if he'd be willing to sit down and interview and host a few folks, and he was more than willing. So that's some of the audio that you're going to hear here in just a little bit. We had people literally coming from across the world, and Chase did an awesome job hosting and interviewing our guests. So thank you to Chase. Last but not least, sincerely to my dear friends Lane and Sarah. Wow, you guys have no idea how much your friendship and your hospitality means to me and all the uppers. I wish people, I think they do know. They know how awesome you guys are. I mean, it's just, you literally opened up your home to us. You didn't bat an eye. You created a safe, friendly place for us to gather and fellowship. And that's amazing. That's like a rare thing. That doesn't happen much. It's hard to find friends who would do that to people coming from Australia, I mean, so I don't know. I think I just want you guys to know from the bottom of my heart that that we appreciate you and that we love you, and none of us can thank you enough for that experience, because it really was an amazing experience, and it was life-changing. I met friends, I shook hands, I gave hugs, and talked with people that I've been talking with for almost 2 years now, and your willingness to do that is huge. It's absolutely huge, and I know it was a lot, and really, I mean, it was just natural. It was completely natural for you guys just to open up your house and to be that kind and courteous to all of us, and we were blown away. I had many people coming up to me during and even talking afterwards and just expressing the same things. So I wanted to make sure that I let you guys know that we love you, and you're fantastic. I mean, as Gandalf once said, it's the small things, it's the small deeds, right, of ordinary folk that keep the darkness at bay. Small acts of kindness and love. So, yeah. So with that, thank you to everybody who came out to the long expected party, and thank you to all of you who tuned in, whether it was on the Facebook Live video or you were just kind of watching the feed to look for pictures and updates, or you were celebrating somewhere else, or you were just celebrating with us in spirit. I mean, seriously, it felt like we were all connected in one way or another. it was neat to kind of go on and see everyone else's post and see them celebrating Tolkien and just having a good Hobbit day. So thank you to all of you guys. Now then, let's here we go. Here's the fun stuff. Okay, let's enjoy a few delicious conversations from the long expected party, recorded in the unfinished, unexpected studio.
All right. Welcome, y'all. Willkommen. Bonjour, comment ça va? Okay, anyways, welcome to a very special edition of EAVE News. I'm your correspondent, Chase McKinney, and I have the distinct pleasure and privilege to be able to talk to some of the attendees of the long-expected party, round 2, or 2019, LEP 19, whatever it is we're going with. Anyway, so I have Sherston, I have Elise right next to me, and we're just going to talk Tolkien, or party. We're going to talk party, right?
Talk party.
Party
We're
and
gonna
Tolkien.
Which inevitably means talking to.
Yes.
We're going to talk about something, and it's going to be fan-friggin-tastic. So,
It always is.
so right now, we are sitting in the guts of the studio right now, and we are having a good old time looking at how it's been framed in, and this is the future of our podcast, y'all, that we get to really listen to and to really experience what it's going to be moving forward. So with that being said, tell me about some of your first impressions and what it was like. Just tell me what it was like walking in to this and seeing the genesis of this studio.
Well, the only reason I didn't start crying was because I'm wearing contacts for the 5th time
I see those tears coming.
ever.
They're starting now.
They were a little bit, but
Yeah.
my eyes are very dry right
Okay.
now, so I could go get my eye drops and make some actual tears if we wanted to. But it's very emotional, actually, being here. More emotional than I expected it to be.
And it's so cool because we've been talking about this for so long, Kirsten
Yeah.
and I. We booked
Yeah.
our staying at the Dumford like months and months
6
and months
months ago.
Yeah.
Maybe
so we knew for a
7
long
months
time
ago, yeah.
we were going to be here.
Nice.
And so to actually step foot in the Shire and to
Uh-huh.
see all these people that we know virtually and now can shake their hand and give them a hug is really phenomenal. But walking in here
Yeah.
and seeing what it's going to become, seeing the bones of this is going to look like is just unreal. We can see it. We can see it forming.
Absolutely.
And when you call them guts, they're beautiful guts.
They are
It's-
very beautiful, non-slimy guts.
Yes.
Non-slimy.
But it actually is. It's a beautifully structured studio,
Yes.
you know?
Yeah, like
And it's
I'm sure there's going to be like I am hoping there's going to be like a time-lapse video that they'll do eventually for all this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm sure we got the camera guy.
We do have a
Nate.
camera guy that's setting up,
Yeah.
and he's
Yeah.
Hey, man.
he is wearing a beautifully multi-pink polo that he is like rocking like no one else can.
It's how we've kept track of him all morning.
Basically,
We followed him to breakfast. We followed him to Starbucks.
we didn't have
See
to
that
put him in
pink
a
dot in
safety
the
vest. We
horizon?
found him.
Super hard to hit at night.
In the headlights.
Super hard to hit at night. All right. Sweet. Yeah, I think it's really cool. Like, you know, even just coming here to the party, and we came through the front door. I don't know if you all went through the back gate or if you all went to the front door, but
Front door.
Front
yeah, coming
door.
through the front door, and then like you actually walk into I think the front living room or something like that, or whatever.
The living room and then the dining room to the left.
Yeah. So like
Where
where
it
they
actually happens.
where it was actually happening, where the last year and a half of this production's
Yeah.
like really been happening. What was that like for you guys? Like seeing like the room that it's been recorded in for the last 18 months basically.
You can't stop smiling because we're here.
Yeah.
There's Sarah. There's Lane.
And I think there's
Doing their thing.
a feeling you get where you know, obviously we've never been here.
Yeah.
But when you walk inside and you look at the table and you look at the front entry, you're like, I've been here,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Like I've been sitting in this room, haven't I?
Yeah.
Even though we haven't,
It's
but in
this
spirit we
is-
have. So
Right.
there's that familiarity
Yeah.
I think that we felt being invited in and seeing that for the first time.
It's where the book club is. It's where our book club is.
Right.
You know.
And for those of you that are further uppers, or what are we calling ourselves? I forgot.
Movers.
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 There you go. Like that's the same place too. And this is where this framed in genesis of a studio is it's going to be beautiful for, you know, the uppers and the movers moving forward. You're welcome.
I feel ya.
You feel what I'm saying?
I feel what you're saying.
That's a shout out to Phil.
Phil Seidel.
Phil Seidel, can you fill us in next time, please? So, okay, so, you know, we have people on virtually every continent, except for Antarctica, that I'm pretty sure of. That we don't have anyone on Antarctica, unless there's a penguin that listens to us or something.
A
You
penguin?
never know.
There might be a penguin that listens. You never know.
If I was a penguin,
I'd listen.
I'd
You'd
listen.
Yeah.
I'd listen. Why not? But we have people all over the world that listen to this podcast, and we have. I don't want to say a select few, but we have we have a smaller number of people that have been willing to make the trek to the Shire of America. So let me start with this question. What makes this podcast so appealing for people to listen to and just be willing to listen for 2.5 hours at a time?
I think for us, a lot of it has been the family aspect of this podcast.
community.
Yeah, I think from the start, there was this intention of creating more than just somewhere to listen, but somewhere to take part and contribute.
Okay.
And find people who, yes, have that same interest as you, but build on it more. You know, create that connection that Tolkien began, but then we have the opportunity to move forward with. But I think it was their energy and their ability to make us so excited again
Yeah.
about these loves that we've had for so long that hooked us.
Right.
And then it was the family aspect that kept us going
Okay.
for many, many months.
It's the family aspect, and that this isn't a pompous love of Tolkien. This
Yeah.
isn't a very it is outwardly expressive, but it's that quiet knowing that you have inside
Yeah.
that all of us have. Just kind of that we all know that feeling we get when we hear the name Tolkien or when we read a passage from one of the books. It's that
Right.
mutual understanding, that unspoken understanding of this is a place we've all been before, and that we can all come back to and have fellowship together.
I think you bring up a good point. Like, we're not a pompous, you know,
It's very
society.
Humble.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
very humble.
And welcoming, yeah.
Yeah.
I can-
like
I-
the Shire.
I can remember in high school, whenever I was, you know, watching the movies and like it was gaining a lot of popularity, there would be people that just would go nuts over it, and I wouldn't know what the heck was going on, and they just had this air about them, and I didn't really want to read the books because of them, and so I've only, up until, you know, the last year or so, actually decided to read the books. And shout out to Rachel McCulley, who is in Texas now, the Rohan of America. Yeah, Rohan, y'all.
Rohan, y'all.
Wearing a shirt, by the way, that says that. It's pretty epic. Snap a picture later and hopefully post it on the group. But anyways, like, it was her that really got me into this podcast, that helped me discover this podcast and meet all you fine people, both, you know, you two ladies sitting here next to me and all y'all listening on this, whatever this is going to be, a Patreon or a special episode. Appendices, something. Yeah. That there's just been so much kindness, and it's been so welcoming for people that don't know the history of Middle Earth, like, you know, Mr. Phyllis In does. You know what I'm saying? He's standing like right next to us.
Shout out to Phil.
Can you fill us in on that, Phil?
Hey.
But yeah, I think that's really cool, like how chill we are and how supportive we are of it. So,
And two, you know, we all went out for breakfast this morning, and
First
none
breakfast.
of us, first breakfast.
yeah.
None of us have met each other face to face ever
Yeah.
before. I mean, at least most of us coming from Texas and coming from Colorado. But it's like we're old friends. You know, we can sit down and have a conversation, and it's like we've always been friends.
Right.
You know.
Right. And I think Sherston and I think we've had maybe one video chat, maybe.
I don't even think
If it wasn't a video chat, maybe it was just
We
a
had
Facebook
a phone call.
Yeah, some kind of
a
phone call.
Facebook phone call. I've had video chats with Erica, with
Yeah.
Jen, a couple other people
Mm-hmm.
during a game night, but I don't think, all we have to go off of our Facebook pictures
Yep.
and chat groups and the Facebook group
Mm-hmm.
and putting faces to voices
Yes.
is
Yes.
magic.
Yeah, it's like you look kind of like what I thought you were, but not really.
The living version.
Yeah, the living.
You're
version.
the living version.
Yeah. Like some people I thought would be shorter or taller, and
Yes.
it's weird seeing him in person. Like Ez is like a friggin' giant, man. Like holy cow.
He is too tall for his cloak.
Well, that is a problem.
man.
The cloak that I made him.
Oh, man.
The flannel one. I thought it would be
Cloak extensions? Is
too
that a thing?
long. But I think it goes above his ankles. Wow. I know.
Well, we can remedy that. We can just chop his feet off.
Hey, okay.
Okay.
Did that just
Replace
did that
them
go,
with Hobbit feet.
Did that get too dark too quick?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe a little
Okay.
too soon.
Okay, we should probably edit that out as. Or not. It'll be fun. It's fine. It's whatever. It's no big
Chopping
deal.
limbs is
NBD.
normal. It's okay.
It's fine. Limb loppers. I did some limb lopping while I was here. It's great. And I have a bloody finger to prove it.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Oh.
Yeah, pretty sweet.
Get you a
So-
Band-Aid later. If it's bleeding. Are you bleeding?
I was. I'm good.
You're good.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm good.
We're good.
I'm peachy keen and A-OK, yo.
AO win okay.
A-O-N-O-K.
AO win okay.
No, because then she's a little salty, and my wound is not salty.
But then she becomes a healer. And
Well, okay, we can roll with that.
it's fine. Anyway.
So
Sorry, spoiler alert.
those of you that might not have
about
read
to get
it,
to that chapter. Houses of Healing.
by the way. So that's that. No, we've had people. Obviously, we have y'all from Colorado, myself from Texas, people from. We have someone from Australia that's here right now. How
Shout out
crazy.
to Mel B.
That's Darth Scary
Amazing.
Spice or Scary Spice. If you're a Discord listener, I mean it's Mel B. Scary Spice.
Spice Girl.
Yeah, spice up your life. Every boy and every girl, spice up your life. Anyway, so why do you think, or what reason do you think people chose to come here? I mean, they could have just listened to the podcast and like watched a YouTube video or a special episode of this. What's so appealing about coming here to this event?
I think that the action of buying a plane ticket for us,
Yeah.
booking it, getting on the plane and coming here is putting action to all the words and all the thoughts that we've had up till now.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's our way of showing our commitment and taking that last step and giving back and showing that we want to be here with everybody and solidify that. So
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's the Shire. Who doesn't want to come to the Shire for a holiday?
There you go. It's a little humid and slightly drizzly, but it's okay.
Hair, skin, and nails are happy.
Yeah.
didn't it rain last year too? I heard
I don't know.
Scattered thunderstorms. I think so.
we're bringing the rain.
Yeah.
Make it rain, y'all.
It's funny at the inn Elise and I were staying at, the owner was telling us, yeah, it's been a little dry here, hasn't really rained, and we're from Colorado, and it's
We're
like,
like, dry.
30% humidity for us is humid.
Yeah, this is like probably like 80
Yeah.
or 90% humidity.
Yeah, at least.
That's the
You
thing.
can
Like,
feel it.
yeah, living in Michigan for 10 years. Yeah, I gladly take a summer in Texas over a spring or summer in the Midwest. Thank you.
Hey guys.
Hey Lane, how you doing, girl?
Hair in a little bit, Lane?
Yes, please. Yes.
Okay.
Don't forget, Cher. So you just grab me at some point and say,
I will.
"I'm in your hair right now."
Okay. Sounds good.
So we just had Butterbur hop on
Sarah's
for
doing the
a hot
same thing,
second.
too.
It was
Like-
great.
Like a streak. Do you have enough for her too, for Sarah?
Sure.
She wants like just a streak or something.
Absolutely. Do you guys have
Fine.
tinfoil or saran wrap? Saran wrap is fine.
I'll call Ez.
If
You know a little bit of saran wrap.
that's fine.
Okay.
If it's just a little, don't worry. We can make it work. If not,
We know a person. So
should have brought more bleach.
You're not gonna like Slim Shady Goldberry, are you?
No.
Okay.
She'd go platinum. Both of them would probably go platinum
Nice.
in one
Nice.
full
One
bleaching.
bleaching.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Anyway, I don't remember.
So we were just talking about humidity.
Humidity,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah. But I think it'll be fine. I mean, the fellowship is gonna outweigh the nasty gnarliness of the humidity. So
It's worth being here for.
totes my god. Oh my gosh.
Don't even get me started.
Leave Brittany alone. I think I just broke Cher's.
We're going to leave that there. No, I'm chipping. I'm slowly cracking away. I'll break later.
No.
Oh, let's not do that.
No, please don't. I don't want to have to sweep
Put it
you
back
up.
together.
Well, you're the one hacking limbs over there.
Just let it go.
Okay.
Just
Okay.
turn away and slam the door.
I don't care what they're going to say.
Let the storm rage on, okay?
But the cold always did bother me.
Yeah, I bet it did.
It did.
But you live in Colorado. You live in Colorado.
I do. I actually have a autoimmune disorder. A couple of them. But one is poor circulation in
It's called
fingers.
Raynaud's.
But
Yeah.
if my fingers get too cold, they'll turn white. Blood will stop circulating
What?
to them, and they'll just start to die.
And eventually, you will have to hack them off if they really do die.
Yes.
So
Whoa.
Have you on standby?
Back the
fun.
truck up.
toes too. Yeah.
Holy cow.
Appendages, yeah.
Whoa.
Elise has it too.
What?
I have it in my feet normally. Yeah.
Is that like neuropathy at all, or not really?
No,
No.
no, it's Raynaud's.
Okay. I don't know, man. That's wild. Okay. You doing okay though?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay. We're not
It's
gonna
80
lose,
degrees and 80% humidity. We're good.
We're not
Yeah,
gonna
no
lose fingers
cold
or toes
appendages.
or
Not today.
our appendages, knees,
No.
noses, nothing like that.
All good.
Okay. Okay. So since you two are family, who got who into Lord of the Rings?
Our mother.
Our mother.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd say for the podcast, Kirsten got me into it.
Okay.
She definitely took the helm in that and dragged me out of my work life to be like, hey, this is really cool. You need to get started.
Nice.
Didn't take long,
So
though.
thank you, Kirsten, for that.
Can't
But
help.
I think it was our mom who got both of us into Lord of the Rings to begin with
Yeah.
the movies first
And-
when we were little.
And the books.
Yes, and the books right around the same time.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was 12. I'm pretty sure I was 11 or 12. And you were 9.
I remember in the Helm's Deep battle in the movie, she would always try and skip over a lot of the orc scenes because she thought they were too scary for us.
Aww.
And so
Oh,
she'd
our
be like,
mom
cover your
did.
eyes, cover your eyes. You don't want to see it when he's doing his battle cry and everything. And I just remember that so vividly in our very first few times watching it with her because she wanted us to love it. And we did already. But she was so concerned about the violence for a
Rightfully
9-year-old.
so.
Yeah.
She's a mother.
Yes. It was great.
But she'd always refer to Frodo and Sam as, oh, that's my Frodo. Or that's my Sam. I don't know. Her love of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Little did she know we
Oh.
would become much worse than her. And we would run the family in the Lord of the
Yes.
Rings. Yeah.
She
It's been great.
she started us on swords. When I was 16.
She bought the first weapon.
She bought me
That's true.
our first weapon,
Okay.
and then for her birthday last year,
We finally got her
as
one
a family, we bought
all
her.
these years later.
And you'll appreciate this, Chase of the Riddermark. We bought her Harrogrim.
Hey.
She is a shield maiden
Nice.
of Rohan
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bring it. You're always welcome at the Golden Hall. Just
Thank
letting you know.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. We have a special presentation to make to Esin Lane on behalf. Oopsie poopsies. Lane's here.
Quick, stop talking.
Halt! Stop! Do not pass. You shall not pass.
Do you
Oh,
just
yeah.
want me to hold this?
I made it. Yeah, I made
Set it on the table there if you want something. Yeah.
made it.
Did you make this?
I made that, yeah.
You made this.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
It is further up and further in.
Yep.
Lewis.
So fun story. So can you hold that up with one of the cameras or something? So this was the original logo for Further Up. So like when they were first putting it together, that's what it was. And then like I think shortly after I made it, I made that back in January of this year, January of 2019.
When it first started.
Yeah. And when Ez and Lane were going to come down to the Rohirrim Gathering in Texas, I was going to give it to him that weekend.
Okay.
And I think it was like a day or two after I made it that the logo changed to like something more high res and more convoluted.
Well, it has
I'm
the
like,
lion on it.
yeah. Well, there. I mean,
Well, yeah. Oh, that's true. That's true. But
That-
this is OG.
that's
this
O-
is original Further Up.
yes, that is the original Further
Wow.
Up with the Narnian,
The Narnian lion.
font and the lion. Yep,
So this is vintage, is what
that
this
is vintage. Yes,
And
so
you
we
can-
can hang that up.
You can only see it here, Amanda, Ohio.
Yeah, yeah, and that's made by yours truly with Bird of Prey wood burning, Bird of Prey crafting, I think is what I call it actually. So if you want to do want any wood burning art, just let me know. I know a guy. I don't even remember what we were talking about. I feel like I'm having a Butterbur moment now.
That's okay. We're just kind of wandering
Oh yes,
conversationally.
Oh,
yes. Now I
the
remember.
Super secret
Yes.
conversation.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we have a special presentation for Ez and Lane on behalf of the Horse Lords.
Are you going to say what it is here?
I mean, I could because he's technically not going to listen to it until it's
Till
all,
later.
Till
True.
later. But we have an official banner, an official flag that we flew. We flew in their honor from midday to midday.
Oh, that's... Okay.
So we
okay.
flew a flag in their honor, and we'll be presenting it to them later.
That is amazing.
So it flew at the Golden Hall.
Oh, my goodness.
So
I will
Wow.
bet tears will be shed.
and as Lord of the Mark, I get to make the presentation on
You
behalf
do.
of my people. So there we go.
It's going to be glorious,
Yeah.
Chase.
It's gonna be pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's gonna be dope.
It's going to be dank. That was for you, Erica.
and right outside, we actually have another flag that's flying. So I actually thought that flag was gonna be flying actually in the town square for a second. Like whenever they were like saying, "Oh yeah, look for the flag, look for the white tree flying on Main Street," and I'm like, "What? Amanda's behind this? And they're gonna be flying that flag? What?
That'd be wild.
That would be wild."
It's only a matter of time at this point.
Yeah.
They'll take over the town, I'm sure.
It'll be really interesting me saying this and what actually happens, but I contacted press. I contacted the press. I contacted
Really?
You did?
I did. I contacted.
Cheer?
Yeah.
And Amanda?
I contacted the Lancaster Eagle Gazette. I contacted the Columbus Dispatch. I contacted the Fox and ABC affiliate news stations, and pitched the story to them to see if they'd be willing to cover it. And I gave them the deets, and we'll see if they actually show up at 3:00 today.
Oh, my God.
That's the second best thing to Billy Boyd coming.
So if they come, it's great. If they don't, they don't.
Still
but,
great.
But they know.
Chase, you're on top of things.
Yeah.
So I've been working on that like all week, trying to get it to the right people, and
So
hopefully
great.
they pick it up and do something with it.
Yeah. Oh,
So-
that's fantastic.
There are a lot of friggin' gamers, man. Like, holy shnikes.
Hello.
It's Philip!
Oh my gosh. We have
Be right back.
Phil Willis. All right, well, Sherston has to say see you later for right now, and that's okay. She will be back, but Sherston, go ahead and say whatever you want to say.
I'm going to go bleach Lane and Sarah's hair.
That sounds fan-friggin-tastic. Please take a
Yes.
lot of pictures of the process.
There will be pictures. There will probably be a Facebook Live. You
I like it.
You might have already seen it by the time you listen to this.
This little behind-the-scenes conspirator action. I
yeah,
love it.
I know. Well, Conspirators 2.0.
All right, well, have fun.
Until then, Magovanian Melian, it's been a pleasure.
No,
And
the pleasure's been ours. All right, see you later, Sherston.
see ya.
Further up. It's tearing up my heart when I'm with you. When we are apart, I feel it too. Okay, we're going to stop singing NSYNC for right now. So we just had Sherston say "see you later" in a much more Elvish way. So now we have a different Phil hanging with us. It's not fill us in. It's what you talking about, Willis? We got Phil Willis with us, straight from the great nation of Texas. That's right, the Rohan of America. Welcome to this special edition of EAVE News for Up Talkin' Tolkien. Say hey.
Howdy, y'all.
Howdy, y'all. Rohan, y'all. We still got Elise. She's staying strong.
Still here.
She's still here. She's hanging out. So we're just talking about what we've been talking about a little bit was first impressions of the studio. So we can just kick off there. Like, what's it like seeing these beautiful framed-in guts of the studio?
Yeah, well, I was listening to the podcast on the way here, the last 2 episodes, and the Facebook posts, and to see it in such a, it's pretty close to being done, which surprises me. There's a lot, it's a big space. I thought it was going to be smaller when I first saw it, but yeah, it's pretty big. It looks nice. And the backyard is straight up Hobbiton. Like,
absolutely.
It is Bilbo's party right now.
Mm-hmm. For sure. So we've met in person.
Yes.
Briefly. Had some chili, had some Mexican food.
Campfire.
Had a campfire. There's going to be a campfire tonight. So what was the reason that you came here? Tell me about your decision to travel from nation to nation.
Yeah, so from the get-go of my journey on the podcast, it's felt like a fellowship. Everyone's been so nice. It's like friends that you know that you've never actually met, and everyone's so supportive of each other and their art. And for me, I kind of lost my nerddom for a while. Like in my 30s, I was focusing on my job and other aspects of my life and kind of getting away from fantasy and sci-fi. But that's always been the core of who I am.
Yeah.
And to meet a group of people that's so passionate about something that I grew up on and that was like my Bible and my childhood, and to be brought back into that has been amazing. And it's helped my writing. It's helped my art in my own way. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's been a crazy supportive group. I mean, I've done things like drive up to Dallas to hang out with you,
right?
Someone who I've never met before. And now I've drove from Texas to Ohio, and
right.
Yeah, so it's been a road trip. And it's kind of funny because I was looking at the time it took the Rohirrim to get to Minas Tirith, mm-hmm. the Battle of Pelennor, and it was 4 days, and that's how long my trip was. Nice. And I was like, man, how weird is that?
Nice.
Yeah,
that's
so
amazing.
Yeah, and it's just the connections that I made and the connections that I'm excited to make here and actually meet people mm-hmm. that I've seen their faces and, looked at their art online, and, I'm amazed by everyone here, man. So it's, I feel blessed to be here right now. So
it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And like you're saying, like the backyard just looks fantastic. Like the decorations, the flag, the everything that they're putting together. And we're still, I don't know how many hours away right now from actual kickoff for this thing.
Yeah,
so.
and I'm an early person to everything, and I was like, I'm going to get there, and nobody's going to be there.
Oh, no.
And then I pulled up, and
everyone's
here, and I'm like, and Lane's like, you want to get in the studio? I'm like, what? So yeah,
welcome to the studio.
Man. Yeah.
And before we move on, I liked the comment you made about reigniting the creative passion
mm-hmm.
in people, because I think we get so lost in the everyday sometimes, and I can be a workaholic, and
same.
I absolutely love writing. I'm a writer.
Okay.
But I forget that that's my true passion because I'm doing work, I'm doing school, doing all of that. But this podcast has that ability to reignite those passions in us that I think we all need in everyday life. So I definitely feel you there.
For sure, yeah. And your Sherston has been like my little source of like creative energy with me.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It's amazing, man. Right. Yeah. And then to have people like to be able to give your art and let people dissect it in a way that they're not going to tear it apart.
Yes.
And they're actually going to give you constructive criticism because we're all passionate about the same thing,
Yes.
And you and Sherston are doing I don't want to call it fanfic, but it's some kind of like continued story or something that y'all are doing?
Yeah, it's a
with-
short story. Yeah,
in the Bywater Post newsletter.
Yeah, which I'm behind in that because of school and work. But yeah, I'm hopefully going to finish. I think we got 2 more chapters left.
Okay.
That I'm outlining right now. And what I'll do is when we're done, just compile it all together and then post it somewhere. So yeah,
Sweet.
It's just a little short story of her love for the elves and my love for Rohan kind of blended together. So yeah.
Right. So writing, it seems like it's the common denominator for both of y'all with and how not just Tolkien but also this podcast has kind of reignited and helped it's aided in reminding you of your passion.
Yeah, for sure.
So I mean, I know that from conversations with you at the house at the Golden Hall that you've talked about, like you're working on your own fantasy series, and we can talk about that in a little bit.
Yes, please.
But Lisa, like, what kind of writing is it that you like to do? I mean, are we talking like fanfics? Are we talking like short stories, expository writing? I mean, what is it?
I have a few long-term projects that I've been working on,
Okay.
mainly fiction, one fantasy that will probably take my whole life to write, and I'm okay with that.
Okay.
And then I do a lot of historical fiction as well. I have a pirate series that I'm working on, Golden Age of Piracy, but it has a little bit of fantasy intertwined.
Okay.
And then the high fantasy inspired by Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
And then I have one other post-apocalyptic work.
Nice.
It's okay. No one's dead.
I'm just grabbing balls. Sorry.
You heard it here, folks. Butterbur
No
is
comment.
grabbing balls.
Somebody been booping the cameras? No, I see.
I'm what?
I did one job. I know, and I'm really not great at it.
Okay, so Golden Age of Piracy, you said?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but I have not been working on those longer works as much recently, so
Okay.
I've been doing a lot of short pieces just to get some writing down. And I love classic literature. I read a lot of old classics, so
Okay.
I write these things that I call poetic prose, and they're usually just like half a page maybe. It's half the time don't even make sense because they're just my brain putting stuff on paper.
Yeah.
But I take a prompt or an idea and I just kind of throw it down there and run with it. So.
Love it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. So are you at a point where you're able or willing to talk about like one or two of your stories, or are you still holding it pretty close to the chest right now?
I'm definitely willing to.
Okay.
I think it just doesn't always get started. Some people, if they don't love writing, it's hard to talk to them about the story. Or they don't love books, which you guys do. So I'd be
That's
more
true.
than
I'm a
happy
Ravenclaw, so
to
yes.
talk. Yes, more than happy to. Especially because I don't get the opportunity to as much. So,
There you go.
yeah.
Yeah, especially if it's your baby. I know as a writer, I'm hesitant to let
Yeah.
people read, but
Don't
then I'm
poke
like,
holes in it,
if you really want me
please.
to talk about it, I'll talk about
talk
it for like
5
4
hours.
hours.
Right. Yeah, and that's why I asked, because like I know that I know not a lot, but I know a good handful of writers, whether they write professionally or not, and they're like, I don't know if I really want to talk about that right now because like I don't want other people to hijack my ideas and turn it into their own story. So that's why I ask. So I mean, if you have like an elevator speech, like a premise to like kind of whet our appetites for each of your stories for eventual publication, so that we can support you in your process as uppers and movers, right?
Absolutely.
So you don't have to give the full 5-hour thesis or anything.
Yeah.
You don't have to defend it. Just maybe like something to whet our appetite. So whoever, Elise, Phil.
Elise, you want to go first?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. Okay. I will give you. I haven't prepared an elevator speech, so if I just start going and a few hours pass, you can stop me.
Okay. Okay.
But I'll tell you a little about my pirate one because that's the one I've worked on the most. It takes place in the second golden age of piracy, and that's late 1600s, so it's even kind of after a lot of it. And it's got a little bit of fantasy in it, and a little bit of mythology. I have a lot of Greek mythology intertwined, Calypso and Circe mainly. They're central characters, and pretty much I have a pirate captain who is a fire breather.
Nice.
And there is a legend of these people called breathers. There's 4 categories of them. You have elemental breathers, which you'd have fire, water, wind, that type of stuff.
I was about to say earth, like is someone like breathing leaves or
spit
something?
dirt out or
Yeah.
something. No, it has. If you can't quite imagine spitting it out of your mouth, they're probably not going to like grow trees out of their
Okay,
teeth.
that'd
or
be
something.
weird.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, and I have lists of all the different kinds that
Okay.
exist. Then there's illusion breathers, and they have like light, sound. They can imitate forms of air. Emotion breathers, which have to be in very close proximity to you, and they can initiate fear, love, hate, whichever is in their breath.
Okay.
And then the last one is lethal breathers, and they have poison, shadows, nightmares, and they have a catch because their breath is slowly killing them because it's lethal.
Okay.
Wow.
And all of them are tied to a legend of Calypso and Circe that goes back decades, of the first 4 pirate lords who wanted to gain power over all the 7 seas. And to do that, you have to find Calypso's island and request that lordship. And so they made that journey. And when they got there, Circe, her sister, was also on the island. And there's a whole lot of drama between the sisters and falling in love with the pirate lords. And Circe gets passed up for her sister, and she gets pretty pissed about that. And the one she loved was the lethal breather. And so she cursed him to be dying. And she cursed all of them, and Calypso saved them in the end. But the reason the lethal breather dies so early is because the first one betrayed Circe all those years ago.
It sounds really cool.
That is awesome.
Thanks.
It sounds really cool.
It's so complicated.
Who doesn't
so
like pirates? Like that's like
it's got a
one of my
lot
favorite
of
genres.
yeah, a lot of mythology that takes a lot of time to put together. But all of that's before the book. This current one is a descendant of those original
Disney
lords.
descendants.
Disney descendants.
You know what I'm talking about? There's like a movie, like a trilogy on Disney. Disney Descendants, yeah, and they're like the kid.
What?
They're the kids of like Disney
Oh
villains.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
I
Oh, yeah.
do know what you're talking
So,
about.
and
Yeah,
like-
Like Ursula's daughter and
Ursula,
I think- yeah.
Maleficent,
Yeah.
Evil Queen,
yeah,
something like that. I don't know.
yeah.
That sounds really cool. Like,
Yeah.
not to take away from your story, but like when you said Calypso, I started thinking of like I think the lady in one of the Pirates movies.
Yes, there is a Calypso in those Pirates
that's
movies.
that was the lady that became really big,
Mm-hmm.
right?
she's like the goddess of the sea.
And
Yes.
like completely messed up some stuff.
Oh, yeah.
for everyone. So like that
Oh,
was
yeah.
like an image that was coming to mind. But I'd be really interested to reading that story, whether it's
Thank you.
like on a Kindle or it's an actual paperback, hardback. That'd be really cool. So, by the way, we're starting a Kickstarter so that we can get this made, right?
Oh sure.
Yeah, let's
Absolutely.
do it.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
Done.
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 Right there. See, this is what happens when you give me a microphone. I can say whatever I want to say. So that's really cool. So you've been working on it a handful of years, you're saying?
Yes, a few years. And the reason it hasn't really evolved yet is because there's so much history. Like none of that is in the actual first book.
Okay.
That's all unknown that unravels throughout. You have characters generations later, during the plague, during the fires in London,
Yeah.
going on their own adventure is what those main books are. But that's all the history that I've
That is awesome.
planned it. So
Nice. So, so just like Elise did, maybe give us like your elevator speech of sorts, your just something to kind of whet our appetite for whatever you're willing to share about the fantasy book that you've been working on.
Yeah. So mine is kind of, I guess, a little more high fantasy.
Sure.
I've been probably working on the base character names and stuff since I was probably 15, I think 14 or 15. It was a D&D character that I came up with, and the name just kind of stayed with me. A lot of the names, I'm kind of a name freak. I think that's where I love Tolkien so much, is that his passion with naming something, and I will, like, my anxiety will kick in and I'll stay up all night to name something correctly. Yeah, so mine is kind of, so it's high fantasy, but also a little low fantasy in the fact that my world has a lot of old magic that doesn't really exist anymore, or it's kind of went underground, and so kind of my homage to like the Rangers of Lord of the Rings. So I have a
thought you
whole
would say
Ranger.
Power Rangers.
Yeah, no, I do love the Power Rangers though.
I mean,
Yeah.
Who doesn't?
yeah.
I was a Zach fan, the Black Ranger. So,
Yes.
yeah, but so it's my homage to that and Ranger culture. So I've developed my own kind of Ranger culture. They're the Rangers of Perndale, so it's kind of like a valley pastoral region, and they're kind of like the protectors. Similar to Lord of the Rings, there's a lot of. They used to be much larger. Their numbers have dwindled. So there's these fantasy enemies like orcs and stuff like that, but they've kind of went back into the mountains and they've kind of disappeared. So the humans in my world have focused on politics and real life stuff, and so they've kind of forgotten what the real enemy is. And in my world, the real enemy is this shadow realm or abyssal realm, basically another dimension. There's been wars in the past that have been fought over that, and so the characters are kind of young heroes who one is there's the main enemy in my world is called Barilla, or the Empire of Barilla. They're kind of my take on Roman, the Romans. So they're trying to conquer everything basically.
Yeah.
And then there's a good hero nation. It's called the Elundian Federation. So it's weird for me to even say that out loud, but it's several different city-states that have banded together over time. But right now, they're kind of infighting, kind of Game of Thrones-ish, So they're forgetting what the real enemy is, or the two main enemies.
Spoilers.
So the main character, his name is Dragon. He is from like a Norse culture, but he was taken as a child by the Barillans and basically turned into a mindless soldier.
Okay.
But he became the best of them. So I actually developed him from the Bourne Identity, Jason Bourne.
Oh, okay.
So
Nice.
I watched those movies. I was like, man, I could take
They're
that and
so
turn
good.
that into fantasy, And then there's a female main character who's the daughter of a lord, and then there's a ranger named Roran. So there's Roran, Asha, and Dragon are my main characters, and so it's them kind of having to accept fate, and they all kind of deny it at first, but they kind of have to become the heroes in the world because everything else is kind of crumbling around them, and no one really sees what's going on. So yeah, that's kind of and I'm still, I'm in book 1 right now, so I'm doing a lot of lore building, which, we have a lore master to the right of me right now. But
Phil's back. The other Phil.
Yeah. What
Fill us
saved,
in.
Phil and Phil.
yeah. What saved my mind was Google Drive. That's where I've been able to put everything in my world into a big collection. So I'm able to constantly edit that. But yeah.
I wanted to ask too, because in my pirate story, at least, I'm basing it in the real world. So I have a lot of pieces already outlined for me.
Okay.
But I know in my previous fantasy creations, it's so hard to start from scratch world building and to organize it, because you want to have a map and you want to have these places and organize your characters, but you started on it with your Google Drive. But how do you start from inception, start from nothing, and just sort of make a world?
That's a good question.
So I started basically from like the micro and then developed like macro out.
Okay.
So I have a pretty large map of like my main continent. But I'm right now, like, I have like hand-drawn maps. So I had like 9 hand-drawn maps that me and my cousin stitched together. And then I use Paint 3D to
nice.
like completely outline it. So yeah, that's still a work in progress, but to finally have my map to where it's like, oh, I can actually see the distances. I'm super OCD about.
That's great though, because that's hard.
I have it in my Google Drive, and I can edit it. I'll go back and add stuff to it whenever I look at a piece and I'll see a blank little area, and I'm like, well, that's 100 miles of nothing. Like, there's got to be a mountain there or a river or something like that, and that's how my brain functions. But yeah, it's coming up with different cultures and races, and so that's all,
we have
part of my madness.
We have a little Hobbit that wants to come on into the studio.
Hey, what's up?
Go around to Daddy.
Come here.
Oh, Ow.
Come here, sweetie.
Good to see you.
Well, anyways,
kidding.
that was my daughter. This is my daughter, Elena. She's a couple days away from being 2. And she is...
Hopefully not the terrible 2s.
No. She's absolutely precious. I love her to death.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think it's really, really interesting. You know, like you're basing yours basically in the real world to a certain extent.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of mythology that you're just kind of throwing in there.
Mm-hmm.
And you're kind of, you know, going micro to macro, like you were saying, and just like
Creating mythology, which is
yeah.
mind-numbingly hard.
It's hard, man. I hear you. What
Yeah.
was the first thing? What was the very first thing you created? Was it your first male character, from D&D? Is that the inception of it?
So that's hard to think. Yeah, so Dragon, and then some of my, I think I created. It's funny how things have changed. Like some names have stuck with me, but they've been reassigned to something else. So like I had this old wizard, and it was very, you know, the trope, the bearded long wizard, who I named Rylene, I think that's Rylene. But he's become a deity now for like lore and astronomy and stuff like that. But yeah, my world kind of revolves around elementals. So there's like 4 greater elementals. They're basically fire, wind, earth, water. And they're like primordial forces. So they're not really involved in the day-to-day aspects of my world.
Okay.
So I kind of want to like kind of maybe do a slight detour for a second. Sure. The thing that I think is kind of interesting that you both brought up in a way was this whole elemental thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now I can distinctly remember as a kid, me and some of my friends, like we'd be playing around in the woods or at the playground or in each other's backyards, and we would pretend that we would be like, do you remember when, I might be a little too young for this.
Too young, me.
Potentially too young for this. But when Power Rangers, when they were in their ninjetti thing, and they had like the wolf and the falcon and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So like it was right
The
around
golden age.
Yes, when Power Rangers was actually good, right?
Right.
So it was around that time that we would be playing and pretending that we would be like Power Rangers, but we'd have like elemental powers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the one that I always wanted was air. I wanted that to be like my elemental power.
Mm-hmm.
So why do you think elemental stuff kind of keeps popping up in stories, and what do you think the importance of like those elemental elements are in storytelling?
I think that there's a historical literary storytelling part of the elements that we are so close to the world that we live in, the earth, the water, that even before things were written down,
Mm-hmm.
I think there was a special connection that we had with these major components of life. And as the storytelling tradition came down, I think we centralized those into categories, into fire, water, earth, air, and those major components of our, oh gosh, there goes my phone, of those major components of our world. And we see that in so many different fantasy stories and even non-fantasy. If you read a lot of classic literature, you have water being an element with very specific abilities, like healing abilities, purifying, those type of attributes that transcend, I think, even just fantasy, and are a part of how we identify with those elements in everything.
What do you think, Phil?
Yeah, with me, I think it's same. It's like a primal thing. Like our bodies are literally these elements, and we need these elements to survive. So the fantasy of being able to manipulate those or have power over the elements that we have no control over, I think has always been something that fascinates people. If you look at Native American folklore, if you look at ancient African folklore, and like you said, a lot of like water symbolizes the same thing across all these different cultures. But yeah, I mean, I forever wanted to be like an earth mage, and like be able to manipulate the earth and trees and druids and so yeah.
Do you remember the show Mystic Knights of Tir na Nog?
Yes.
So
If it was anything nerdy or dorky, I watched.
So
it.
I was all over that show, and I was so sad that it only got one season.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like that show, and then probably 5-6 years ago, someone convinced me to go watch Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh my gosh.
And
Yes.
I ate that
So good.
up so good. And again, I mean, Air I thought was like the cool.
Airbender.
Yeah, airbending is like probably the coolest thing. Yeah, we're so live. We're Butterbur. What is up, my dude?
I just saw a Sasquatch outside. And he had
The truth is out there.
So, I don't know.
The truth is out there. Hey, Butterbur. Later on, my dude, we got to get on here. We got to talk. We got to talk files.
Dude, I've never read Lord of the Rings, so I can't really talk.
I don't want to talk about Lord of the Rings.
Oh, X-Files.
Yeah, we got to talk about the truth being out there, my man.
Is it like a soup? What is Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, no, it's like
a driller?
See, I want to know if we have any Dune fans because I'm a massive Dune fan.
So I've never read or seen it.
What?
I have seen it, and I've actually recently started reading
The
it.
mini series, that TV miniseries is golden.
Yes.
And James McAvoy is in it.
Yes,
Yeah.
I love him. He's
That was when he was a
amazing.
baby. But yeah, Dune is one of my big inspirations in my book. Even though it's a fantasy world, there's so many cool elements about his philosophies and
Yeah.
politics. Like they have houses similar, like Game of Thrones. They have their own houses, and yeah.
He revolutionized sci-fi for
Yeah.
sure.
Oh,
Phenomenal.
He is the Tolkien of sci-fi.
Yes.
Well, sweet.
Well, yeah, we should probably go enjoy the company and
You go do what you're gonna do. I've been tasked with hosting
sure.
the
we
behind the
snag some
scenes.
people and
Yeah,
bring
some
him
new
back.
yeah,
faces,
and in
some
fact
new
we
voices.
can if Phil, other Phil, fill us in. Phil has headphones. We can actually do a double hosting.
I got hair.
We can double host it, and we can talk about the history of hosting.
Hey.
We have a crossover event of reframed and going home. Reframed home or home reframed. That sounds weird.
Home reframed.
Yeah, home
story
reframed.
about the dogs that get lost. in the
Yes. Yes, it's a great story. Anyway, well, I want to thank both of you for taking the time to sit down, talk Tolkien, talk party, talk about your stories. I know that, for writers, sharing your stories before they're actually in print is a very personal thing. It can be very personal to share your baby prematurely. So thank you for your willingness to do that. And we hope that you enjoy your time partying. And come on back later on if you want to talk some more randomness with us, okay?
Will do.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks, y'all.
Frodo
Thank
lives.
you.
I can taste my own voice.
Yeah, and we're recording right now.
And we're recording, and we're being recorded.
Whoa, this is like Inception of like the most
What?
voiceovery level.
Oh my gosh.
Did something just break?
Yeah,
Okay.
my mind.
Okay. Well, welcome to a special edition of EAVE News. I'm Chase.
And I'm Sticklebats McGee.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's so good to have you here in the Shire of America, in a
Yeah.
little village called Acerta.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good to be here. I mean, this is radical,
Quite.
This is very strange for me. I'm sitting on the other side of this, and
Right. And it's your studio. It's the upper studio that you occupy.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is actually great because you are flying the ship right now, and
It might
you're-
crash.
Yeah. Well, I mean, good thing we don't have the drywall up.
This is
we're
true.
we could save some cost.
Is drywall still drywall when it's wet?
Oh, don't even get me or Lane started on that. Kev wants to put drywall in here. We don't understand it. We think we should go with wet wall, and we're not really sure why the discrimination.
How about moist wall?
Wow, that sounds terrible.
Moist.
It's either all wet or it's all dry
moist.
in my book. So,
Moist.
should I get one in? Here, let me get one. Moist.
There you go.
There it is.
That was legit. That was too legit to quit.
People are gonna love that.
Yes. So,
Yes, sir.
here you are. Here you
Yep.
are being interviewed. You are one of our esteemed hosts of this fantastic program that we've been, this adventure, this fellowship that we've been on for a year and a half, almost 2 years now. And it's
Uh-huh.
just taken off really in the last year. It's
Yeah.
just blown up. And last year we had the first long expected party.
Yes.
And unexpectedly, we have a second long expected party that is going to be happening here in a couple hours.
Very unexpected.
Very unexpected. How expected it is, right? So tell me, Ez, what's it like to see this dream really come alive and just how much it's grown?
Oh, we're going for it here. I mean, it's intense. I mean, I don't know. I keep kind of sneaking away and talking to Lane just about like, can you believe this is happening? I mean, as we were setting up Thursday night, it was like, dude, this is really happening. People are going to be here. We're getting the lights up. We're getting everything kind of going, and you don't even realize. I'm actually really glad that we have this happening between you and I right now, because we want to capture some of these moments. It's going to go by so fast, and it's almost like it's overwhelming. And we want to capture the moment. We want to share it with our friends who couldn't be here. But it's amazing. I cannot believe it's happened, and I can't believe that like people I've been talking to, listeners, people who have come into the book club who are part of the fellowship now are here. And like the other night, we were closing down the village, and we're heading back, and Jessica was in front of us, and she was leading. She was literally Gandalf, like leading,
awesome.
The group. And I'm just like, this is fantastic. I don't know, and it was just really cool to kind of see everybody, to like shake hands, to hug, to like, it's great.
Yeah,
it's mind blowing, honestly. So,
and like we've all interacted with each other to a certain extent, with the Facebook group, the page, just listening, hearing Bywater posts that you and Lane read, and even reading some of them in the newsletter that we get each month that Jen does for us.
Right.
So whenever you've met some of these people that you've been reading these comments, have your expectations been about the same? Like, oh yeah, like I kind of expect you to be that tall, or
wow,
or
yeah, that's so. What's crazy about it is that the personalities and that piece is all there, because we get that in the communication, we get that in the comments, in the likes, in the Bywater post stories, all that kind of stuff. But then to show up here and it's just like, I don't know. I'm going to use Sherston as the example. It's like, so I know that she's Elvish. I knew that.
Right.
But then how like the hobbits knew elves were out there. Right. So they knew they were out there.
Right.
They hadn't seen one. But and then when they do, you're sort of like, what? They're real. They're here. They're here. Everyone. They're here. Come check out the elves. It's just cool. I don't know. It's something like that. I think that you finally like meeting you and seeing you, and then seeing Philip's out there. Phil is here. Phil Seidel, Philip Willis. Gosh, I'm trying to think. I mean, even like now, I've seen on a more regular basis, Jen, Susie, Erica. Erica's in Michigan, and I sometimes forget that she's from Michigan because she's down here so often. So I don't know. It's trippy. I mean, it's trippy because now I'm seeing the elves. Now I'm seeing the Rohirrim.
Rohan, y'all.
Yeah. Wow. So that's the part that I think is so cool. And we're going to go out here later and sit around the fire, and we're going to chat and talk and tell stories and get to know one another. And no one can take this away from us.
No.
Except
for the fire marshal.
He probably could come shut it down. Hopefully, Bill Joe will take the fireworks way out back, and we can just deny that we had anything to do with it.
Right. Take it one county over. We'll still see it.
Yeah, we'll see it. Yeah, they're pretty large. So
yeah.
But yeah, man, I don't know. It's crazy. It is honestly crazy.
So last year, if I'm not mistaken, I wasn't here, but I remember there was an attendance of about maybe a dozen folks.
Yeah, and it depends. There might have been a little bit more than that. People came early and then left early, So to wrap up the night, though, we had a solid dozen, like just around the fire, and that was pretty cool. We had a lot of people show up, and they just only could stop by for an hour or two. They didn't know. It was the first party, so people didn't know, this is an all-day thing. We can stay. We can bring our own drinks. There's food. There's contests. There's this. So I'm hoping this year we have people come and then, stay deep into the night. And we're going to be smoking some Old Toby, here in a little while. Bill Joe's bringing me a pipe and stuff. So, yeah. But, yeah, last year we only had about, I'd say max 20 maybe.
Okay.
And so this is significantly larger already.
Right. I mean,
So
we're I don't know, a handful of hours away, or maybe even a couple hours away from this thing actually kicking off officially.
Yep.
Today.
Yep.
And we probably have like about 20-ish people right now.
Yep.
And it hasn't even started.
I know. It's crazy. And some folks like Tara Lynn just dropped off some stuff for us, and she's going to go check in at her campsite, and then she'll be back.
Okay.
So you've got people doing things like that too, who said they would bring stuff or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, it's wild because so many people brought different things to share with one another because they've been talking. And it's like, well, are you going to the long expected party? Yes, I am. Are you? Yeah, cool. Well, I'll see you there, and I'll bring this, and we can exchange. And that's what's another element that's mind-blowing to me. I've already seen it happening. People are like exchanging stuff. I mean, I got something from you already, and I'm just like, this is epic. This is so cool. And it's also why one of the hidden gems here we haven't really, well, this is perfect. I'll kind of say it right now. Make sure, you're going to talk to Lane earlier or later, right?
Eventually, yes.
Yeah, we're going to sit him down here and get his thoughts. But we are in the bare bones of this studio, and we thought we were close to putting up insulation. We had the wrong type. We were just kind of all over the place. We thought, you know what? It's perfect. You guys are seeing, you helped build this. This is this is your studio. And to have you guys come in here, sign the studs, sign the door, and make your mark, it's amazing. It's really cool. And I'm kind of like just blown away. I don't know if you know, like later on, Chase, you're going to have to check me. I'm out walking around and I just can't focus on everything. I can't talk to somebody like long enough, and it's just, there's not enough time. I want more time. And we haven't even started the party yet.
Right. It's kind of, I think that if we're growing by a factor of 3, it seems, I mean, if we were to estimate it at about a dozen, maybe a dozen and a half from last year, and we're probably going to be in the ballpark of maybe, I don't know, 30, 40 today.
Yep.
Next year, it could be closer to 100. If we keep on that trajectory.
Yep, I know. We're gonna. We've actually thought about that. Lane already kind of said today. He's like, dude, what? Like, we're not even set up yet for this year. He's like, what are we gonna do next year? And I was like, I don't know. Let's just focus. Let's just get this done. Because like, we're gonna have to get a field. Like, this is crazy. But it's cool. It's a dream that he had, and it was his vision. And I, for the longest while, was just like, yeah, sure. I mean, I was like, we'll have some local friends stop by. It'll be fun. We'll have a little fire and stuff. And it's like, we have someone from Australia here. That's legit. I don't know. We have people coming from all over the place, all over this country. So it's actually international now, simply because of Mel. Thank you, Mel.
Right. And so, and I think I might have told you this, and I honestly have no idea if it's going to happen. I would tell you if it was, so you would. But in reaching out to local media and press, right, that was part of the hook that I was speaking to him about. Was like, hey, look, we got a little village that they've created this massive following through their podcast, and it's grown so much that there are people coming from a different continent to this gathering, and it might be worth you actually covering. Yeah. So like that's been an I know I contacted the local ABC and Fox affiliate. Wow. I contacted the Columbus Dispatch and the Lancaster Eagle Gazette. Yep. So if they show up with cameras and steno pads, just be ready to talk.
You just made me 10 times more nervous now. So I'm like,
so I told them that it starts around 3:00. So man. I think after probably 4:30, you'll probably be off the hook if they don't show up by then.
What if prime time they show up here? That'd be wild. That'd be crazy. But you're right. It is worth sort of like letting people know that like we're celebrating Tolkien. We're celebrating Bilbo's birthday. This is Hobbit Day. I mean, we're a bunch of friends getting together, right. and I don't know. We used to do this on our own, and I think everybody kind of has their own little celebrations that happen in small groups everywhere. But where's a place where you can just go and have a huge bash? There wasn't one near us, so we thought, let's do it. Let's go for it. And it is just growing, and it is wild, and people are like excited. And also the people who are into Lord of the Rings and Tolkien's work, they're just good people, like really solid people. And I think it's the lessons that he teaches in his stories. Like there's some kindred spirit there among all of us, and it's awesome. So we almost got Billy Boyd here.
I saw
Almost.
that. I saw that.
We thought we had him pinned down in the wrong location. He wasn't in Cincinnati, Ohio, like we thought. So maybe next year.
How far is Cincy from here?
Not very far. 2.5, 3 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
But Columbus is the closest major town, right?
Yeah, about an hour. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that's where I flew in was Cleveland. And then we have, or that's Columbus, and Cleveland and Cincy are the other two majors.
Right. And yeah, Cleveland would be about 4-hour drive, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that like northeastern?
Yep. Northeast. And then, yeah. So I actually, Columbus, we're not too far from, we're less than an hour from Columbus.
Okay.
And then Cincinnati, though. So if he would have been in Columbus, and if he ends up being, I don't know. It just depends on when those Comic-Cons happen, when those expos happen. But this one it would have been perfect. So
I was talking to Sherston earlier, both in here and also in the backyard, the field where we're going to be hanging out, right?
Yeah.
And I was telling him, like, we have all these interactions on...
LeBron James, everyone.
Whoa!
The headband's back. The headband's back.
Sir.
Is this on live?
Sir, will you just have a seat real quick?
Guys, check it out. Rat Tail is platinum blonde.
Is it? Let me see. I can't see it. That's
Giggity, giggity.
awesome.
I love it.
What are you saying?
That's really cool.
Then I gotta get back to work.
Okay, let's go for it.
Work.
Ezra is, and
Hold on.
nobody knows.
Chase stole me away. He stole me away.
Stole me away. Oh man, these headphones are brutal.
Can we hear Lane?
I feel like
Let's see
I'm
here.
1920.
Barely. Do you?
There he is.
Working?
There he is.
Are these cameras on?
They
No,
were. They're
they
not.
were. I can't get them back on.
We're good.
Magic.
Magic.
Yeah.
It's because of magic,
Basically.
which is sort of backwards.
Secret magic.
Secret magic.
This is
from a
so
secret
unexpected.
place.
You just stopped. This is perfect,
I know.
actually.
Well, I was
So-
expecting it.
This is the perfect opportunity to say this is an unexpected podcast right now.
That's true.
What? Inception.
That just happened.
What if I literally just stopped talking right?
Excuse me.
How unexpected was that?
Excuse me.
Whoa.
So he shows
Whoa.
up. He says a few words,
And that's it. Butterbur all the way.
and he pieces out. Tell him I'm in here recording.
Wow. I don't even know what we were talking about. I'm having a Butterbur moment because of that.
Yeah. Oh, he does. That's what he does. That's the effect that Lane has. So he does it all the time. Like he does that to me all the time.
Is that why the podcast ends up being like 3 or 4 hours?
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
Like we'll be on a thought, and he will boom. He'll take us this direction. I don't want to say derail, maybe a quick aside. It's fantastic. And then next thing you know, I'm almost I've gotten used to putting my finger in the book and keeping track of where I was, and I just hold it there, and I don't move until we're okay. Let me get back to my here there we are. Because if I look up from the book and then I look back down, I'm like, wait a second, what? Where were we at?
Right.
So that's what he does. The Lane effect, everyone. The Lane effect.
Okay, now I remember. So I was talking to Sherston.
Yes.
And both here and outside of here. And we were talking about how, we have all these interactions on the Facebook group. We have our messaging that we do with whatever messaging app that we're using at the time. And we come here and it just feels like a family reunion.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think the reason for that is?
Well, I mean.
Oh my goodness.
Oh Lord, he's back.
Oh no.
There it is, guys. The Lane effect
Oh
again.
my goodness.
He's
Hey, I just want.
We haven't soundproofed the studio yet, so all that's coming right through the. Hey, those are the
I want to do
important
agreement
magic
off.
sticks.
We have to do agreement off.
No. Hey, Gandalf, you got a nice stick.
A year ago, you said you wanted that painting, and it's yours now.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Be able to get that home, okay?
That's wild.
It'll work.
This is my one carry-on. And it's the right dimensions.
I
I don't know if it's going to meet the weight requirement. It's a little too meaty. Oh.
Sir, is this oil-based? Because that's flame black and makes
Boom goes the dynamite. Boom goes the dynamite.
I know. Next level. I can't have you guys in the same room. I'm sorry. Not when the mics are on. I can't.
Oh,
Yeah.
my.
Oh yeah. I got you. Quick
Oh,
aside.
no.
Chase on his own. 1 sec.
So now it's me. Tales from the studio. Captain's log. Start date 4627.3. We're in a field doing something. It's gonna be cool.
But we don't want it. No, we don't want it. Oh, fish. Raw, juicy, little fish. Yes, okay. Well, I'm talking to myself. No, you're not. Yes. Yes, I am. Patience, my love. If we takes it, then we becomes the master. It's too risky. It's too risky. So I don't know if he's coming back. That stupid little hobbitses. They're thieves. No. Master's nice. Master looks after us. Murderer. Okay. Oh, he's coming back. Yes.
Are you still going?
Yes, he's coming back.
Can you keep that going for a second?
Yes.
Keep it going.
Oh my goodness.
Keep it going, Chase.
He's leaving us. Master doesn't care about us no more. Yes. Yes, he does. Oh. More alone. He wants the precious. We need it. Gives it back to us. Oh. Oh. If we takes it, we ought to wring their filthy little necks. Come now, hobbitses. Quickly. Oh, yes. Oh, well, this one times we were doing riddles. Yes.
Was that the longest pause ever?
Ever.
Quite.
Can I tell you something? So this is true.
You can tell me whatever you want, whether it's true or not. Philip, do you prefer Philip, or Philippi? Hold on. Got to make sure that your sound is on.
There we go.
Oh, yes. Oh, are you back? Say something.
Can you hear me?
Hello? I can't hear you.
Can we hear? Yeah, we can't hear him. Let's see.
Say something.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, we're starting to. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that's quite delightful. Look at it. Oh yes.
Yeah, that's delicious. Okay.
Like a cup of chocolate. A cup of chocolate.
This is inside stuff here. I have been trying to turn that music on for over 2 hours.
Well, you gotta chord it just right.
I didn't have the right I bought my I had my new phone. It didn't work because you don't have the aux jack, and then I couldn't couldn't find Lane's phone because we're just moving around. Then I couldn't find the adapter, so it's just crazy, absolutely crazy.
Selfie time, y'all.
This is a slightly awkward turtle.
There it is.
There we go.
Look at you guys just sitting around.
Oh my gosh!
We are sitting on our laurels, talking about laurels.
I sit down, I am attacked like a hawk. I don't know what to do. I cannot win. I cannot win. Oh, and we have a couple,
Fair maidens.
Hello, I'm the doctor.
Oh my gosh!
Sorry, don't cross the streams.
You guys could turn that down out there. I don't know how to.
It's gonna leak through.
I feel
It's
like
great.
I'm ready to go
I think
to
it's
war
fine.
right now. Where's our swords?
Oh my gosh!
Is this the day that we're gonna draw swords together?
This is surreal.
I actually, Chase, I remember what your question was, the family reunion. The whole time I was remembering, it's kind of like I put my finger, like I told you.
Thank you.
Down in the book, and I was remembering, where are we at? And it is like a family reunion.
Yes.
And there's Jen Shepherd, everyone, coming in just,
Yay, Jen.
delivering boxes of goodies.
Woo-hoo.
So, I don't know. It is just absolutely wild to think about. Like, it feels like family. I feel like I can talk to Jen like she's family. So, I mean, only for a little bit before. She's giving me the stare right now. She's giving me the stare. So
Just don't
stop talking about me, or I'm coming over there.
Do not ask her to make you a sandwich. That would probably be a bad thing.
No, that would not be good. That would be
that's
bad.
no bueno.
Yeah, no bueno.
But then his gender would be reassigned, and people would be asking him to make sandwiches. So.
Guys,
Whoa.
I will make a sandwich for everyone. You know what?
Thank you.
Or I'm just gonna make a seat over here.
Can you just go to Subway and make the sandwich for us?
Make it fresh?
Yeah.
There is a Subway right down the
Subway
down the way.
fresh.
Oh my gosh. So,
So it's a family reunion
Philip is here.
in the flesh.
We were just
It's
talking
surreal.
about how it's crazy that you guys are here. I'm looking, I'm seeing, I'm hearing, I'm smelling. Lane, mostly. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I literally just showered. I will literally be sweating my arse off here for the rest of the day. It is hot outside, and I'm not. I'm of cool weather.
That's what we call humidity, folks.
I can't stand it. But anyways, yeah. So it's just cool to see folks. I think Shearson, they left, right?
Yeah, they're getting
ready
changed and coming back.
Yeah. I hate to, I mean, yes, I'm sorry. They're changing from their cosplay costume, which they're in right now, which is their real clothes, into their actual clothes from.
They're cosplaying humans.
They're cosplaying humans. So that was kind of cool to see.
Yeah.
I don't know how they did away with the ears and stuff, but that was.
Well, if they're using
their sword.
Oh my gosh! I hope so.
I don't know how they would have gotten that checked on.
A flight.
The Great
Eagle.
Oh
man!
I mean, if she's an elf, she could glamour it.
She could. She could.
Glamour
That would
true.
be.
People.
Oh my gosh!
That's true.
She's making me nervous. I'm already I'm forming a coalition against her. She and the elves. I don't trust them. So,
You and man.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
I mean, I don't
I
know.
thought hobbits were supposed to trust the elves.
Well,
Hobbits love elves.
Unless you're a dwarf.
Yeah, and I'm just being a wizard. I don't know. Like, I know wizards are supposed to be. We're close to the council and everybody. There's just something. I don't know what it is. There's something about them. I'm not so sure.
They're judging the flannel.
That
they wear all the velvets.
They do.
They're like,
okay. So we're talking about Middle Earth races right now. Okay, basically. So we know as that you are Ezra the Flannel.
Yeah.
Okay, fact.
Yeah, fact.
That's fact.
It's true.
It's recorded in the vitals records of Middle Earth.
It is.
It's there.
Yep.
Straight up.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and Philip, we know that you hail from the great nation of Rohan. Okay, in one of the southern territories of Rohan, right?
Yep.
So, even though you belong, you belong to a southern territory, right? Do you see yourself as the race of men, or which race do you see yourself in?
Physically, I'm like a dwarf hobbit love child.
You're a hobworf,
but
or a dwarfit.
I long to be a person of Rohan. I think, like, whenever I have my beard on, whenever it's fuller, I feel like I'm a man of Rohan, but I'm a dwarf hobbit.
You're a dwarfit.
I'm hairy like a
can dig it.
dwarf.
That's
and
awesome.
Short like a hobbit.
That's
the love child.
Is that a real thing? I mean, I think it is, right? That's
Done.
It's in now.
It's
in
in
the records.
It's in the history of Middle Earth. Phil,
where's he at? Oh my god!
Can you fill us in on that? Is that
Dwabit?
A dwabit?
A dwabit.
Coin that is perfect.
Can we actually get a coin?
We probably could. I'm sure there's
Can we
someone
create
here
our
who can
own
work some metal.
Can we create our own Uptalk and token currency?
That would be insane. I would
Right.
love to actually have a coin that had like like a real legit press it and
It'd be kind of cool, since we're kind of like going all over the place, is if we got people's pictures, either like that we take here or that they send in, and we create our own like podcast like baseball cards.
Oh my gosh!
Basically,
yeah, and sort of like with your title, like your who you, with information on the back. And stuff. Yeah.
So like who you are like in actual life, and who you are in Middle Earth.
Yeah. That would be sick. That would honestly help Lane and I, because I mean that group in the last couple months has been out of control.
Over 1,000.
It's insane. Now? I don't even know
crazy.
what's happening.
Like a year ago, we had. So like I think the group started probably I feel like it started like around like January of 18, didn't it?
Yeah.
January, February of 18?
It might have. Yes, it might have. Yeah.
I feel like I joined shortly after. I joined the Facebook group shortly after it had been established. I think it was just the page for a long time. And even then when I joined, there might have been like less than 100 people.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And now we're way over 1,000. We're almost like, we're going to probably be at 1,100 or more here in the next couple weeks.
I'm just worried, like, think when the show starts and people who have been away, you know, because those of us who've been reading and wanting to get back into it, or thinking like, oh, a show's coming out, let's get back into Lord of the Rings. Some people are waiting till the show comes out, and then they're like, okay, now I'm going to get back into it. So there's a whole other like wave of people that I'm like, oh Lord,
right?
What is going to happen?
Right.
So I don't know. It's going to be crazy. I need us to continue to hashtag LOTR on Prime though, and get their attention, because I'm like, guys, just I don't know.
There's no other podcast like this, so
I'm hoping
we need that attention.
I'm hoping, and so I don't know. I thought about emailing them or something, or what have you. I don't know. There's got to be a push we can make to, because once we start doing reactions and stuff, people who live in the area too, we're going to come up and maybe watch the show and then do reactions. So it's not always going to be just like Lane and I, or Lane, I, and Goldberry. It's going to be Kurt and other folks, Susie and people who live nearby who want to come over, Nate Mueller, and just, you know, give their reaction and put it out there. I don't know. It's going to be kind of fun. And we'll get to talk about that. Is something I'm more and more excited about the show, and something that Lane did. The foresight that he had when we started the podcast was to literally every week was to talk about the show, regardless of whether anything was happening or not. Really, I mean, he would just tell you nothing really is going on. We're keeping track of it though. We're keeping our eye on it, and even then the biopic, he was tracking that for the longest time. And I'm just like, this. He's insane. He's the best. He's always been a student of film, and just really likes to, I don't know. He's very much into that, you know, side of it. I don't always know who the producer is, or who I don't not real big into that side of it. I love the story and the plot and the and things like that. And you know, I'm hoping with the show to tie it back into some of the histories and like what did they use, what did they not use, what resources are they using. Whereas Lane will know every actor and he'll know all that stuff too, and then some. And I'm just like, how does your mind, you know, fit all of that information in there? It's just crazy.
So in preparation for this trip, our family, we watched the extended edition of Lord of the Rings.
Good.
To prepare for it.
Yep.
And I was watching, it was definitely Return of the King for one of them, but I was just looking throughout. I was like, hey, I know that guy. I mean, I don't know the guy, but I mean, hey, I heard him on a podcast, and that was like Shane, I think was his name.
Yes.
Shane Rangi.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's in the absolutely. Yeah, that was wild. And you also hear Tammy Lane. Tammy Lane, yeah, is in the appendices as well. And so she talks at the end, and Shane, he's in that as well, and then he's in obviously the films. So you know, it's just kind of crazy. He did so many other stunts outside of what we know from the appendices and just what we see him do. And to hear him talk to us, even just off the podcast, about some of the small things that he did, I was like, what?
Yeah.
Such a huge
that was such
part.
a cool episode.
Yeah, he's such a huge part to it. He's just a cool dude. So yeah, we're hoping to get more of those folks who are like behind the, I don't know, who, you know, behind the camera, right? Who were working in production or doing something in setup or whatever, and get some of their stories, because it's crazy. It was a life-changing trilogy. It's just, I mean, it's culture. I mean, it's as big as Star Wars. It's like it's a huge like mover of our society and culture. It's just crazy. I don't know. I love it.
I really hope that they don't remake Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. I don't think that they will, but I hope they don't either.
Or if they did, like I could see like an animated version of it. You know, something.
Again.
Yeah.
Because like they did
like something that's more fully realized than those. The animated were good. That's as a kid is what I remember the most was the animated films and the song Frodo of the Nine Fingers. I used to know that song as a kid all the time, and I would sing it. But because visually that's what stuck in my mind until I watched the movies, and then that's the only thing I can imagine. I can't imagine anybody else playing those characters. Right. That's why I'm glad we're going to the second age and not, you know, even as much as I want to see a young Aragorn again, I'm excited about these characters and new characters. Hopefully that they'll develop. An ancestor of,
right.
That just makes me wonder, like how much younger would someone have to look for like a young Aragorn, for example? Because like you look at Viggo and he's portraying like an 80-something-year-old, right? And obviously he's like in his like 30s or 40s whenever he's portraying the role, but like
yeah, I know. How much younger would he have to be? Yeah,
how much younger would the person?
At what point are you going to start in his life span? Yeah, I mean, like how far are you going to go back? What is a young? I mean, how much younger?
Right.
Yeah. That's it. I don't know. It's like when you think about like Philip's saying, like if you want to do an animation, I think that is something you could do that. That would be another way. But going back and actually doing like refilming it and reshooting it, or even there was talk in the beginning of like them turning it, doing a TV show version of the Lord of the Rings, and I'm like, I don't know. I just don't really. We have it. It's amazing. We have the extended edition. It's epic. I mean, maybe years. Like I don't know, years and years and years from now, they might redo something and remake it. But it's just too soon. It's such a good movie. It's a classic.
It would be like redoing Star Wars. And you wouldn't want to.
Some would argue it has been done.
Yeah.
With like the new trilogy, some would argue like if you're being like one of those like angry nerd trolls, right?
Like you are still mad at Solo, which I don't.
Yeah.
I love Solo so much.
Rogue One, I think,
Rogue One and Solo are my favorite.
Yeah. Rogue One is
Rogue One, hands down.
So for me,
all the time.
So in terms, I know we're talking Tolkien, but like in terms of like Star Wars, like for me, my top 2 Star Wars films, maybe my top 3. First is Empire, hands down.
Yeah,
it's Empire.
Rogue One,
and then Rogue One.
Yeah.
And then it's probably Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
The fight scene. At the end of Revenge of the
Sith. Yeah. That's awesome. Man, my order. Are you going by best or just your favorite? Is that what you're saying? Like just those are your favorites?
They're my favorite to watch. Like they have a lot of like rewatch value for me.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, for me, like Return of the Jedi, it's just I don't know. I go off of like I watch it over and over and over again. So I know there's criticisms to it and stuff, but man, I could just watch that every freaking Sunday, and I used to. Mm-hmm. So that was it's my favorite, but I understand it's not maybe the best. So
I mean, we're kind of like deviating a little bit and talking about like movies, but like just real quick, like if you could pick one movie that you could watch every day for the rest of your life and not get sick of it, what would it be? And it doesn't have to be Lord of the Rings.
One movie the rest of my life, and that's it. That's all I got. That is tough. Because it honestly, it might be Return of the Jedi for me.
Okay.
Because I literally would watch. It was my whole childhood. I watched it over and over and over again. Let me give a number 2 because I already people know I love Star Wars, and that's all right. Let me think of another one. A movie that I used to watch all the time growing up. It's going to kind of shock you guys. The Rats of Nim.
That's a great one.
Movie.
I used to watch that show. I loved it. It's got everything. It's got everything you need. And I don't know. I would watch that, and I when it comes up, and I was trying to. I was gonna have my niece Rachel watch it, just for the nostalgia and see if she liked it. She loved it. Loves it. And so I don't know.
I had pet rats because of that.
Yeah.
Series. Yeah.
Wow.
So what about you guys? One movie.
That's tough.
The rest of your life. It's all you can watch.
Mine's pretty easy.
Oh boy.
Mine's really easy. It's Star Trek: First Contact.
Really?
That's such a good one.
Yep.
Hands down. I have seen that movie well over 100 times, without exaggeration, maybe even approaching over 200 times.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember like the first week I got it on VHS. Like I watched it probably 2 or 3 times in a day. I did that rinse repeat for probably like 7 days.
Jiminy.
So I watched it 21 times the first week that I saw it, at least. So and every First Contact day, I watch it. So I watch First Contact. So
that's awesome.
I'm breaking the rules and I'm doing 3.
Go ahead, please.
So, Fellowship, clearly, because that's my favorite movie. I mean, I think I was probably, so I was in 9th grade when that came out.
Okay.
9th or 10th.
Yeah.
And so that's the first movie I visually remember so clearly. I could pay attention to and everything. I would also say Hunger Games, the Hunger Games movie, because
the first
I just think that's a timeless, struggle against the, the capital. And then my third would be Willow, because I love
Willow.
God,
Wow.
That one gave me nightmares when I was a kid.
It's such a good movie.
I used to make fun of Willow. Not make fun of it in a good way. I didn't see it till I was a little bit older. And at one point, he finally calls upon whatever it is, like the spirit and whatever he says during the movie. And I'm like, where was that earlier? Why couldn't you have done that earlier? I don't know. That's great. I almost said The Neverending Story. I love The Neverending Story so much. I would watch it all the time. All the time. So I wore it out. Chapter 1 and Chapter 2.
So what series would you, if there was a series?
Just
a TV series?
A TV series.
Oh, TV series.
Oh, now we're getting real.
That's all that I had. I got it. Easy. Smallville for me. Smallville.
For real?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I am a huge Superman guy, and people don't know that. I used to call my little room upstairs at my mom and dad's house my Fortress of Solitude. Nice. That's where I would go. I would just go up there, my Fortress of Solitude, and it was awesome. But yeah, I love that. I love that series. Tom Welling and just him. By the way, breaking news: he's coming back in like the Arrowverse. You know how they have all those different things. He's coming back as Superman for one of the multiverse Supermans. I'm like, that's amazing. So he's back. But I loved that. It's unfortunate that they had some little controversy with some of the cast members, or a cast member. There's actually two. I'm not gonna talk about it, but some crazy stuff. The rest of it's great. I love that show so much. So much fun.
Nice.
Yeah. All right, Chase.
God, man, that's so hard.
Yeah, which one?
I know.
That's so hard.
I'll say mine.
Yeah.
Farscape.
Farscape.
Really?
I'm a huge Farscape
That's
fan.
like out there.
That's
cool. I've only seen a little bit of that.
Dude,
yeah.
That's my favorite.
Okay.
Probably, yeah. That and Battlestar Galactica, the reimagined.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Farscape is like my sense of humor.
Right.
And they created a whole little universe. It's one of the, to me, one of the most underrated sci-fis that there is.
Huh.
Yeah. Wow.
How about that?
You're making me want to go.
And it's an Aussie flick too. So there's
rewatch it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. Oh my gosh. Well, speaking of, I almost said it's a joke, Spellbinders. You guys have heard me talk about it, right?
So I knew Spellbinder as
a
kid. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
with the armor,
yeah, they had the energy suits and stuff.
Energy suits, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, and Ashka and Korin, and they were like, fighting.
There were so many cool shows made during that time that they just didn't have the special effects that they have nowadays, you know. And it'd be cool to see them.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
have
that
another
would be
chance.
one that they could really go crazy with. I don't know. That was neat, but.
So which Star Trek?
Oh god,
that's Deep Space Nine.
I mean, because you're being recorded, and it's like it's once it's
it's out there. Once it's out there,
there's
so
no
let it be
going
written,
back.
so let it be done. Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
right? I like all of them for different reasons, but I think the one that I think resonates the most, that really speaks to the type of like team environment and the way that problems are handled and evaluated, and I think the one that has the most teachability long term, I think is Next Gen. I'd go with Next Gen. Now, that being said, like I recently watched Deep Space Nine. Like I recently finished Deep Space Nine for the first time because it bored the crap out of me when I was a lot younger. Yeah. But it is an amazing series, and so Next Gen is my number one Star Trek, and Deep Space Nine is my number two.
So good.
Deep Space Nine has
I need to see it.
Fantastic stories, and like it really goes into the dark parts of Star Trek that other series of Star Trek would not go to.
Okay.
So I think those two have like a really good sense about them, and you know, like Deep Space Nine started like right around season 5 or 6 of Next Gen. So Next Gen had 7 seasons, and after Next Gen wrapped up in '94, Deep Space Nine was basically on the air by itself for about a year, and then Voyager came on in '95. Yeah. So anyway, that's a ramble right there, but Next Gen definitely hands down. is one that I could watch
because they go into
in
like
perpetuity.
religion, terrorism, like they go into so many topics. Fanaticism. Like Kira Nerys is.
Oh, you're talking Deep Space Nine.
Deep Space Nine.
Yeah.
She's one of my favorite characters.
Yeah.
Especially like
Dax. I love Dax.
I'd say the first 2.5 seasons are pretty rough to get through. Yeah. But like when you get to the midpoint of season 3 of Deep Space Nine, it really takes off and you cannot let go. It's just fantastic.
I've heard that, and actually, my buddy Matt has often told me that that's the one I need to see, and I haven't seen it, and I'm just like, what is wrong with me? Being Captain Kirk over here, I should know more. And I don't.
Captain Kirk.
It's crazy. When are you starting the Star? I mean, I need a Star Trek podcast out of you, young man. I mean, I don't know what I would talk about. I'll give you a format later, and you can just go with it. I would listen.
He's
I
the
would
master
listen to
of
it.
podcast now.
I'm telling you, I could listen to you rant about when they came out. You know, like just some of the history behind it, who played what, the themes that are in it. Like, I love it, and I wish there's 2 or 3 that are kind of fairly big.
Mission Log is one that I listen to.
Okay,
I really enjoy Mission Log, and what they do.
Big one. There's a big one though. Is it Mission Log? Is that? Are they pretty big?
They're sponsored by friggin' Roddenberry.com and stuff. I mean, like,
look out.
Yeah, but they talk about the messages, morals, and meanings, and if the episode stands the test of time, and they go through every episode of every series and every movie,
that's
episode
awesome.
by episode, and they've been doing it for like 5 or 6 years now.
Okay, and
they're just now starting Deep Space Nine. So I know that we're like crossing so many fandom streams right now. It's like not even funny.
Okay.
But like,
great. We're crossing streams.
You know, I would say that I would put in a plug that if you are interested in like really digging into it and like wanting to kind of understand it, to listen to that as you're going through the series.
Oh yeah, that would be good. That would be good because I would need that probably. Young man, why don't you have a seat here? I actually think that's plugged in. I think.
All right, guys. So are we live here?
We're kind of.
I mean, kind of.
Mike?
Is this real life?
That's how this works.
Turn that bad boy. I can start to hear him. That's live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
this is hot.
Young
man.
Like
it's hot.
Well, I don't want to touch it. Why is it hot? Is there a wiring issue?
Because
it's
on fire.
Yes.
It's kind of warm in here. Do we need to plug that fan in?
Negative
we would, but it's making a lot of noise.
Are you serious? It's not a soundproof fan. I thought we invested in one of those.
Fellas,
dude, that would have been for like the stretch goal with Kickstarter.
Yeah, right.
The lane effect.
I get it, guys.
Somebody just scoot that a little closer to him.
So anyway, I was here a week ago. Oh, is this? Oh, it's a mic. Oh, jeez, guys, why did you?
Are you kidding? I
have no idea. Am I in the shot? Am I ruining the shot?
You're in the shot.
You're ruining it and making it better all at the same time.
So I'm here just to say that.
Oh wow.
Oh, I have a confession to make. Yeah. I've been telling everyone today.
This is my confession.
Yeah. Is that Beyonce?
Turn him down.
Is that Beyonce's song?
He's so loud.
I'm literally whispering.
Oh, now he's whispering. I know I shouldn't have said it.
Is
he the biggest arsehole in the entire world?
Oh my goodness, he said arsehole.
So here we are.
Mm-hmm.
Here we are, Grandma.
Hey, baby.
I have a
How you
confession to
doing?
make.
Oh, come on, tell me. Tell me.
I've never actually read the books. What this whole freaking podcast, all I've been doing is reading Tolkien Gateway.
I'm gonna flip this.
Grandma.
I've been reading
I
Tolkien
thought
Gateway.
you were just reading Wikipedia.
It's exactly what I'm doing. I think it's Tolkien Greatway or something. And
Great way.
I go on there, I read the summaries, and I make up like dumb connections that I have never I think of on the spot kind of deal.
It'd be really cool if someone made cool connections.
Or what if when we're in Mordor, we made cruel connections?
Dude, what if, guys, what if we started a Lord of the Rings podcast?
Don't forget that.
Oh, don't. We have a segment planned for that live, Chase.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You need to go take a look at the table,
Oh.
the informational center up front.
Oh.
Have you been to the informational plaza?
Have you been to our visitor center?
Our visitors tables out front there.
It's great.
There's Name Game Live, and you guys get to influence the segment.
Mm.
So all these dreams we've had, it's been realized on the podcast.
Sweet dreams are made of these. Who am I to disagree?
Yeah, bro. So you can, have a live name game.
I love it.
That'll be great.
Cool.
That'll be great.
I'm picking up what you're laying down. Are you smelling what I'm stepping in?
Laying down?
I'm laying down.
Wow, dude.
Laying down.
Way to.
He's lame down.
Name.
Way to put
He's
you down.
lame down.
Oh, I just want to know if you're ever going to come back out,
That's
or
what
are you staying in here?
It's
or
Chase. I'm blaming Chase right now.
I got to go get some stuff.
You're
What time
pointing
are
to
you
your
going?
freckle. It's a
I'm
quarter
loving
past
the
a freckle.
sweatband.
He doesn't even have a watch. Dude, I don't know why he's been doing that, but he's
I need one
hardcore
because
into the
I'm
sweatband.
sweating.
I'm
I
sweating
sweat
like
like
a crazy man. I sweat from my
He was
head.
using a hand towel from our kitchen
Actually,
yesterday.
you've read Wheel of Time, haven't you? Have you read
No.
the Wheel of Time? Oh, man. Oh my gosh! One of the characters
Is
wears
that
a
the
head.
secret project?
You need to be reading it.
Well, they have the series coming out soon, right? See,
I
that'll
don't
prompt me to
I don't
actually
need to read it if I
to
can
read
just
it,
watch
to
it.
read it. Actually,
Well, the guy wears a headband,
You can
so I
tell
was
the
just gonna be
stories to
Randolph
me
for
in
it
a
and, be fine.
dramatized version.
All right. Well, Lane's here, so
I gotta go back out and do something.
I gotta. Oh my!
Oh
I
my
cannot get
There's
away.
Bill Joe.
I
Bill Joe
can't get
Baggins.
away. This is gonna be a great appendices, by the way.
Bill Joe Baggins is coming in. He's gonna
Oh,
step in, and you want to do some recording, Bill Joe?
I'll give up my seat.
No, I gotta go make some rounds real quick. Hold on. We're gonna have to put up. This is a great pausing point.
All right, I'm recording right now. Oh, yes. This is going to be bloody fantastic.
Phil can
All
get,
right.
The two Phils can get on. Phil can get on this one too, right?
Phil,
Phil, come join us.
join
This
us.
is active.
Fill us in.
Yeah, I
Fill
can.
us in,
I can
Phil.
crank it up, and you can.
There's double Phil.
There's more. There's more to fill.
So much Phil.
There's so much to fill. All right, so I guess I'll crank you up. Can you talk? Talk. You can talk.
Talk closer.
Talk closer.
Talk closer. Oh my.
Ooh. Not only is he a lore master.
Yeah,
But he can open his mouth really wide.
that's true. I can't hear you, homie.
Can you hear me now?
No.
It was working over.
Try now. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
There we go. Gravy
All right.
baby.
Hey, I think there's some rando headphones over there by that high chair if you want to try and grab some. And I'll plug you in, homie.
Plug it in. Plug it in. Plug it in.
I like how everyone's
saw
talking in the
some.
Discord too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, people are doing that.
They were quite literally on the.
Hello, uppers. Can you hear us?
They were right there on the high chair.
Oh, you want me to say that to them?
No. Okay.
I don't see any over there.
Well.
Secret headphones.
Keep it secret. Keep it safe.
True story.
Do what? You can do whatever you want to. You can do what you want to.
They can still hear you,
can't
though.
Those
nobody
are
will.
so cool.
They can still hear you.
I
though,
Mr. Peeper
so-
at them.
Yeah. I can. I mean, I
do
can
want
hear you
one
speak.
because they're wonderful.
I'm gonna wait.
Thank you.
That or
Probably
lose
will.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lauren made these, right?
Okay. Laura did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just wait to get because I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna set it down somewhere.
All right. Well, here we are again.
There are enough people to take.
I'll get it and put it in my car.
I'll take 2 of them. Yes.
Have you checked out her store?
Yes. Yeah, it's really cool.
That might cause problems.
I don't hear anything. Nope.
What?
No, it'll be fine for now, I guess.
Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah. Okay, so we've been recording for a couple minutes now, and
Of nonsense.
of nonsense. Bingle bongle dingle dangle, yickety doo, yickety da, ping pong, lippy tappy too ta, and 42. Am I okay? I guess I'll turn Phil on right now. Oh,
Wow.
yeah, that just happened.
It's kind of cool looking.
Yeah, you're hot
it's
right now,
really
Phil.
neat. That
Phil's
Phil-
hot.
That Phil is so hot right now.
Phil is so hot.
He's making me sweat.
I really am.
Wow. Okay, so
Self sweat.
welcome to the Fellowship of the Square.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Flowers.
The square table.
You see this little, Duna flotchy that Lane's let me keep?
He's letting you
He's
keep
letting you
that?
keep that?
That's
Yeah,
wonderful.
well,
Oh yeah, well yeah.
Is
he
it
said
part
he
of your
made it for you.
Kickstarter?
So
well,
that
he
makes
he
sense.
painted this like a year ago,
Yeah.
and I was like, dude, can I like buy that from you? And he's like, I'll give it to you.
Oh.
And I thought he was gonna mail it. He didn't, but
But now you have it.
but now I
so-
has it.
Yeah.
I have it.
Yeah.
Yes, I have the precious. We want it. We need it. Gives it to us, precious. If we takes it, then we become the master. it's too risky. Too risky. Patience, my love.
That was good.
Slightly terrifying. Yes. Not gonna lie.
I remember when you had set your recording in and they put it on the podcast. I totally thought
We've taken over the podcast.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Phil number 2 / number 1, depending on who you ask, is taking a selfie.
There we go.
Well,
I don't know. Who
we
was
need.
here
Okay,
first?
we need to decide names once and for all.
Oh yeah.
You go by
Official.
Philip though, right?
Yeah.
Your full name.
Oh.
Yeah.
Or
Okay.
Willis.
Philip then.
There we
Phil
go.
and Philip.
It
Philip
has
and
been
Phil.
decided.
Done.
How about pew pew?
Pew pew.
Pew pew.
Pew pew. Wait, is your middle name an E? Because that'd be perfect.
Yes.
Are you?
I have two middle names, so
Oh.
So pew.
very country. Pew.
Are they
Pew
both E's?
pew. Pew pew.
It's very
That's
country.
really funny.
All right, so
It's country to have two middle names.
I have my two middle names are very country.
Oh, well now I really
is one
wanna know.
Edwin?
No, so it's Earl Thomas.
Earl Thomas.
Yes.
Pet
So if you
Debbie.
say it, the Philip Earl Thomas Willis, it's very country.
Philip
Wow.
Earl
It's
Thomas.
actually
really
named
fancy,
after
like
Earl
a
Thomas
famous
Conley.
person.
I just
but
want
he's-
you to know
he's
that you're
country
being
singer.
recorded right now.
I know everyone knows now. My
Everyone
secret's
knows
out.
what your middle names are
Yeah.
now.
Oh my!
That's no shame.
My dad's middle name is Earl, so
Yeah.
Oh, I like that name, like Earl. That's a nice,
We're talking middle names, and Chase just
Chase
doing
is-
what Chase does.
Yeah.
nice strong name.
Such a strong name.
Oh, I like that. I like it when somebody has a nice strong name. Nice strong southern name.
Do I need to get you a towel? You're sweating like
I sweat-
crazy.
yeah, it's I'm in the presence of gods right
hot
now.
people.
I didn't know there was
Hot,
a
so
pool
hot
here.
people.
Oh my.
That
I sweat over.
Sherston
I
is
sweat-
hot too.
Yeah, she's just.
Come on now. Come on now.
Plus makeup, so her skin can't even breathe.
Or cry. Or cry.
Yeah, I was.
No emotions.
I'm going to be making periodic mirror checks to make sure that my eyeliner is not running down my face.
Okay, that's
Me
real
too.
good.
Me too. I mean,
Yeah,
You gotta watch that there guy liner, you know what I'm saying?
the guy liner for sure.
Yeah.
I need a sweatband like
Like
Ed's.
Ez, yeah.
Yeah.
He's.
I'm sure he has an extra one. I don't think you want to use Ezra's
No.
sweatband.
He said he's wearing it because Randall Thor wears a headband, and I was like, that's not a good enough reason. It
We
looks
can
kind of
just
dumb.
flip it right around. We can have the sweat on the outside. I don't know why I keep talking like this. But I'm okay with it.
Let's see what's going on in Discord.
Discord. Yeah.
I can't even. I catch like every fifth word just because I don't have a headphones. I don't have a headphones.
You can talk
A
real
single
good.
I
headphones.
headphones.
You can talk
You
real
can-
good.
Add or remove any letter you want to make that fit.
You know what we could do? We could banish you and make you go get some headphones. Mm-hmm.
We could, but that would be mean.
That's true. We're not gonna do that.
I still can't hear you.
I could give it up for a little bit.
No,
Let him-
you're good.
Well,
Sure.
well. Do you want his sweaty ears?
I know the.
Oh
need,
yeah,
like,
there
Oh,
is
yeah.
that. Yeah.
we need some.
I don't think your shirt's gonna
some
be
little
a
wipes.
good.
We need some. We need some disinfectant wipes.
Yeah, I give up. I can't see anything.
All right. So, in all seriousness, we got some really cool peeps around the table right now. Here at this unexpected podcast, I can see your chin now. It's pretty great.
I've gotten so many compliments on my chin. I didn't even realize, but I only have a nice chin.
Oh yes, jolly good. So we're sitting here, continuing with the interviews here at the long expected party, and got Eric Barnes, got Phil Seidel, and Philip Willis.
Howdy.
So, kind of been asking people as they've been coming in, and they've been looking at the framing of this, like these early stages of the studio. And we've kind of already talked to Philip Willis about his initial impressions. So, Eric, if we can start with you, kind of tell me a little bit about some of your initial reactions to seeing this, and just like what comes to mind, like, and what this means to you.
I'm excited that they're actually doing it. At the game day that we had last December.
Yeah.
They were talking about it. They proposed it, and they're like, "We've got this Kickstarter that we're going to set up, and we it was just really excited that they were getting it off the ground after, well, they I think they talked about it in the podcast at one point during one of the Discord sessions with their sweet drawing. So so I don't know. It's really exciting to see that idea kind of coming to fruition.
Right.
And I don't know. They're moving along. It's a good thing.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm enjoying all the progress videos. Those are fun.
What's it like to be sitting in it right now?
I don't know, like sitting in a
in
Habitat for Humanity house. Because the walls aren't up yet.
Right.
So, but using my imagination, it's pretty great. It's pretty awesome. I'm excited to do this, complete.
Yeah.
At some point. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can dig it.
Yeah.
How about you? What's this like, being able to like be in the studio? I mean, it's early on, obviously. It's being framed, but I mean, what's it like to see it? Initial reactions. Just tell me about that.
I think it's really cool, kind of seeing the skeleton of it and seeing how it's coming together, and then it'll be cool to see, like next year. Hopefully, I'll be here. And kind of see how it is then. I'm assuming it'll be completely done, but it'll be cool. It's a little more, I don't know, I feel like seeing it kind of come together in real life, outside of just, the videos and photos, will be cool to compare it to when it's done and almost have an attachment to it.
Right.
I saw it grow up.
Right.
A child.
He's getting all so grown up now. He's all beautiful. Mm-hmm.
So we were talking to some other folks earlier about this podcast. It's international now. I mean, shoot, we have someone from Australia here right now.
Mel B.
Yeah.
Mel
we
B.
got Mel B here, and we're gonna get her on and interview her later on, obviously. But with that, like, Erica, I know that you're like down the road a couple hours.
Yeah.
And this other three here sitting at the table, we are states
ways away.
away. So Phil, what was so important about you making the decision to come here to be here and hang out at the long expected party?
I want to be with my friends. As kind of cliche as that sounds, but like for real, like when we were getting here, and then Friday night at the Village. Village. I always want to call it the Tavern. It was like we've known each other for years in person, and it felt really natural. Even though it's most of us haven't seen each other before in real life or met before.
Right.
But it was just like we came in, we all met, and we just all hit it off and had an awesome night.
Yeah.
And it was really cool to see and meet everyone. And
for sure,
it was like even just Friday night. I was telling Ez actually this earlier. He was like, even if the party never happened, just Friday night alone was like made the whole trip worth it, because it was just so much fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
We had a good time. It was fun.
That was a lot of fun. Yeah, we went to the Village, which Ez and Lane talk about a lot on the podcast.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool to go to like our own like Green Dragon, so to speak, and just have a good time chilling. Did you make it?
No, yeah.
You didn't make it?
I'm jealous.
You're super jelly. Don't be salty. Just be jelly.
I thought its real name was the Green Dragon.
Oh.
So I posted that, and I was like,
they always talked it.
Like 5 minutes later, I was like, wait a minute, that's not its real name.
That is not.
They missed a real opportunity.
We should just put a sign in front of it. So the Green Dragon.
Yep.
We'll bring our own banner next time.
Boom.
We'll just hang it up.
We're taking over, y'all.
Drape it over their sign.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't mind us. Just taking over.
Yeah. So, we're meeting these people that we've only ever had conversations with, like on the wall of the group, or with either texting or Facebook chats or whatever. And it does feel very, very natural. Like the personalities kind of come across like when we're typing it, but it's like sealed, like for real. Like it totally matches. It makes sense when you see the person face to face. What would you say to encourage those that might not have come either the first or the second year to come maybe next year for the third or the fourth or some future long expected party? Anyone, it doesn't matter.
Just come. We're having an awesome time. It's not weird. It's not awkward. We're all hanging out. Don't be intimidated if you don't know a lot about Tolkien stuff. I mean, we're just being friend people and not nerd people, even though we are nerd people. So
We're friendly nerd people.
We're friendly
It's the best
nerd
fandom
people
out there.
Yeah.
True.
Where you go to like a Star Wars groups and stuff, and it's just nothing but people going after each other based on what episodes they like or not.
Right.
And you don't get any of that in Lord of the Rings because everyone just like the whole thing is amazing.
Unless you're talking about the Hobbit movies.
Yeah, we don't talk about those. So. But yeah, it's awesome, and it's like what Erica said. It doesn't matter if you know a little or you know a lot, or you're dressing up, or you come in jeans and a t-shirt, or I recommend shorts and a t-shirt.
It's a little humid.
Yeah.
Right now.
Like it doesn't matter. Everyone's just out there having an awesome time.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, Philip right now is swimming in his own sweat.
Yeah. So you can call me Sweaty Phil. From now on. No.
We can't have two PSs.
I know,
yeah, no, he's SP, not
SP.
So we already have a Jim SP.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So for me, it's the second time that I've kind of just got up and randomly met people. So we did the one in Texas at your house.
Brohan,
Chase.
y'all.
Yeah. Brohan, y'all.
That was cold.
Yeah, it was really
You
cold.
want to tell them? Let's talk about the Rohirrim gathering for just a hot second.
Yeah.
Or a cool second.
So yeah, you want to start it off?
So the idea came from really a year ago. I mean, like with the first long expected party, I think there was like a dream to like
little branches
to branch out and kind of like have like local like gatherings, like regional gatherings, and we kind of kicked that off for the most part with having one in the Fort Worth area, in Dallas-Fort Worth area of Texas, and we chose Martin Luther King weekend back in January because it was an extended weekend, and we'd been talking to Esin Lane for a couple months to see if they'd even be able to do it if we put it on the calendar, and they said yeah. So we went to work and got stuff set up, and we used like some parks. We used my house. We had like a fireside chat, and we went to a local Mexican restaurant that was very good. I thought it was very good. And we went to we did the stockyards. Yeah, we saw like a gunfight
and the bull.
And yeah, we went to like a museum, and we rode on like a longhorn and had some fun. And it was a really ridiculously cold week, and it was uncharacteristically cold for Texas.
And windy.
And very windy.
It was very Rohan. It was like windy as hell.
It was very, very windy. But anyways, even before that, Philip had, reached out to me a couple weeks beforehand asking if he could help, and he booked a hotel room and near the house, and helped with some supplies, and I mean we had a good time. But like, what was your experience? Coming up and attending, and all that stuff, meeting other uppers from Texas, basically.
Yeah. So for me, it was that was probably the bigger leap than this was, because I was pretty fresh to the group. I had listened to a ton of the episodes, but you meeting up with people you don't know, and so there was a little bit of like, I wouldn't even say nervousness about it, but once we were there, it was just like, we kind of known each other for a long time, and that's kind of how the whole podcast group is in general, so doing this, like, I immediately was like, I'm going to go to the long expected party, the second one, no matter what. But yeah, for me, it's, meeting people who are just as passionate on different levels maybe, but we're all passionate about the lore, the story, and just the fellowship of everything, and helping each other and promoting each other's art, which is, you don't get a lot of that in a lot of other groups. They're, try, like he said, tearing each other down, or, oh, you don't like that episode, or, you should like this one. So, and there's none of that with us, really, I think we
if you don't like exactly what I like, then we are not friends. We are enemies. Stupid.
Frenemies.
We're not even frenemies.
Yeah.
But
and there's so much negativity online, and now I don't even really get on Facebook other than check that, and then I get off, because it's like if I'm on the social, Facebook, there's so much negativity in the world, and you just realize there's so much good in it whenever you're in our group, because we all support each other.
There's some good in this world, and it's worth fighting for.
Exactly, and it's worth driving. In my case, 18 hours.
It's worth buying a ticket for.
Exactly. Traveling from Australia to hang out with us. It's amazing. So I'm blessed to be here. I feel fortunate. And it's great to see everybody's faces that I either know their voices or I've seen their posts. So for me, it's kind of surreal. So
it's pretty dope.
Great. Yeah,
it's pretty dope.
When people are coming from Australia or driving 18 hours, it's worth coming to.
Yeah,
it's something.
Exactly.
There's something there.
Yeah. And don't even think of it as it's just a Saturday. This is we are having a lot of fun, just hanging out at a restaurant on a Friday night, or staying in someone's backyard and just having a good time. So next year for LEP 20, definitely come.
Exactly.
Definitely come. It's worth it.
Take over Amanda.
And if you're in Texas, if you're in Austin or Fort Worth, and if someone's driving, we're happy to help you get here if we can. Philip, you drove.
I've got a big old SUV. You can hop in with me.
I know, presently we don't have a ton of uppers. We have a good handful of uppers in Texas, but other parts of the country, if we can help you get there. We want to. If nothing else, we can definitely encourage you to come. So apart from that, what are y'all looking forward to about today? Are there certain events or certain people, or just what is it about today that you might be looking forward to the most?
The sun going down.
Ooh, the potato contest.
Potato contest.
Yeah.
Yeah. The food.
Nice, juicy.
David Fogel's been working like crazy in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Everything looks and smells heavenly.
Yes.
This party has been brought to you by Dave Fogel.
Yeah, pretty much.
This long expected party is brought to you by.
I think it's funny too, and what I think people won't realize is that you may not think people are paying attention to you, but Charlotte just came up to me and she's like, "Philip," and I'm like, "Oh my God." And she hugged me, and I'm like, you forget that people know you, even if you don't think about it, they're paying attention to you. And so you're not alone. And that's a lot of things with being online, is people think they're alone. Like me, I grew up in the country, and there was only a handful of people like me and my brother that liked fantasy and sci-fi and stuff. And so to be around people, you feel that fellowship, and you're like, oh man, I'm not alone in this, because I think we all kind of express online, our anxiety and that we need help some days, and it's okay, but clearly we're not alone. I think we probably have 50 people outside right now. If there's not more than that right now, So
I'm thrilled with the turnout. Yeah. It's great.
Last year I was actually interviewing Ez here just a little while ago, and I was talking to him, and there were maybe a dozen and a half folks here last year. And trickling in and out, it might have reached somewhere around 20 something. But we are probably well over 30, 40, probably almost 50 people for this. And I was sharing with him, if we've multiplied by a factor of 3 or 4 just from 1 year, imagine what that would look like next year if we had 100 or 200 people.
Crazy.
We would have to buy Amanda. We would have to rent out Amanda.
We'd quadruple the population of Amanda.
We're gonna turn this into the next turn into the next
David Fogel
con.
He said no.
Unexpected podcast con.
Well, that's what I was calling it last night.
The unexpected con?
When I was talking to Joe, I was like, this is totally a con. I don't care how big or small it is. This is a Lord of the Rings con. So it's just pretty really specific.
Now, okay, so it was touched on just a second ago about how encouraging this group can be. Have there been any specific moments that just really stick out to you, that have been really either encouraging or life-giving to you in a particularly difficult or hard time recently, or in the course of the podcast?
I think
getting deep with this.
I think for me, it, like, probably a few weeks into the podcast is what really helped me, because like I said, I was in a really kind of dark headspace. I wasn't writing, I wasn't creating, I was stressed out about work and school, and then to like get so much motivation from the podcast and positive reinforcement, and then watch, like, even if it wasn't involving me, someone just posting, hey, I'm having a bad week, and then to just watch the immediate reactions of people supporting them. That was like, I was like, man, this is something different, you know. It's hard to find that. And so for me, it's been the most touching thing. And then, like, you know, Lane's dog, Arwen, like, I'm a cat dad, and like the thought of, you know, losing a pet and then having to talk about that openly, you know, that's a very hard thing to do, you know. And just to see so many people supporting him and through all those kind of hard moments, you know.
I almost started bawling my eyes out when he started with that poem on the podcast.
I was
like, I'm in the middle of work, I can't do this.
I'm almost certain that I did cry. So
well, I was listening to the last episode, and they bring that back up again, and I got like, I was like, don't start crying in your car.
My precious.
Sorry, I had to say that because Lane just came in and set something down. He said, "My precious."
An empty beer bottle, not even a full one,
just
an empty one.
The one he dropped.
Oh, look, he brought me a beer, and then he's like, "Nope,
nope, that's a nope rope."
Answering your question, I don't know. I think my favorite part, just from that perspective, is listening to people's Tolkien stories, because everyone comes from such different backgrounds, and you know, they all have different life stories, and I love to hear the ones where they've overcome, you know, something, and you know, maybe Tolkien helped them through it, or whatever, or they just needed to share, and it's, I don't know, it's just nice to hear about other people and get those different perspectives and get their stories, because it's, I don't know.
Yeah. It's crazy how similar they all are. Like, just, you would never know it unless, you know, they did the Tolkien stories. But it's just crazy, like, so many people used it as, like, a escape. Like, that was, you know, I put that in my Tolkien story a few episodes back. Like, you know, growing up in a very abusive environment, and Tolkien, like, gave me a, you know, escape from all that. And, like, a whole other world I could go to and live in. And and then just to hear, like, you know, the next Tolkien story of somebody else, and they had a similar situation, and it's like the next person, and then it was a similar situation. You know, there's some differences here and there, but it's crazy, like, just we all have such a connection to this, like, because it means so much to so many of us, and I think that's why we can so easily get along. Too.
For sure.
And if you're still in that dark place, like, other people got out of it. Other people, you know, they got where they needed to go, and so that's really heartening. So you can get that from their stories.
You know, like, the one thing that when I'm adulting and I'm actually, you know, doing work, and it's not even really work for me, but like I'm a therapist, and one of the things that I do early on and that I perpetuate is hearing their story and how their story has really shaped who they are. And there's a bunch of jargon I could drop, and I will not drop jargon right now, but it's really taking a narrative approach to treatment, and how people will, when they describe their own story and what that means, and they assign the meaning, you know, it's amazing. And then you, like, ask them these themes, like, what are some themes, or what are some constants, or some consistent things, like, throughout your life, and it always seems to come back to not just their story, but just a story as you start to explore it, you know. And I think of, and I think, Philip, I think you were here when I was talking about it, but, you know, you look at, like, different fandoms, for example, like the really popular ones out there, Star Wars, Star Trek, Marvel, anything really, there's always, like, this constant, like, theme of a hero, someone that's bigger than life, you know, and people want to be able to experience that. They want to like relate to that, and they want to potentially become something more than they actually are. And I think the problem with stories nowadays, relatively speaking, is that there's more of a dystopian, not so bright, it's more gritty, it's more dim outlook on the future, as opposed to a hopeful, optimistic, bright future between different fandoms. All that to say, like, we have people now, even in going into the second decade, right, of the 21st century, that are still going back to Tolkien.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because there's something, even though there's struggle, they're still going back. So after that long diatribe, that long monologue, what is it about his stories? Like, whether it's The Hobbit or it's Lord of the Rings or it's, you know, any of the unfinished tales type stuff. Like, why do you think people keep going back to Tolkien?
I think it's kind of the resiliency of the story. Like, the characters are, and that's kind of like a psychological thing, you know, whenever therapy, you know, you should know.
I should know, right?
Yeah, no, you do know that. It's like, that sounded bad, but like resiliency is like, you know, like just watching through the story, the characters see so much death and loss and darkness, but it's about their resiliency. It's about, through that, the hope that remains on the other side, you know. And there's so many characters in there. Every one of the characters experiences that through the story. Mm-hmm. They're all brought to the darkest, even if it's like secondary characters, like, you know, I wouldn't say secondary, but like Legolas and Gimli, their friendship, like, you know, them protecting each other and fighting side by side the entire time.
Yeah.
And then them thinking that they lost the hobbits, you know, and it's always that glimmer of hope that they hold on to, you know, the glimmer of hope that Frodo and Sam have made it to Mordor,
right.
You know, and I think that's, to me, what has transcended across decades is, you know, we're still, look at what's going on in the world nowadays. There's so much, like, our planet's, you know, the devastation of our planet kind of mirrors what's going, like the Saruman, like the, you know, the love of nature. And I feel like people are starting to, you know, get back to that.
So with that, I think I'm getting like a signal that I think Ez is wanting us to interview some more people.
All right, friends, there you have it. That is part one of the long-expected party recordings in the unfinished, unexpected podcast studio. So a lot of fun, really cool just to hear everyone's voices and to hear your stories, your reactions. It was just an amazing experience, an amazing day, and yeah, I mean, Lane, Sarah, and I are just thrilled that everyone came out and had a great time, and we didn't get a chance to kind of interact with everybody that we wanted to, so listening to your recordings afterwards has been amazing. I know Lane and Sarah cannot wait to listen. I've been texting them just sort of about what it's like to edit this, because it's crazy. I didn't hear these conversations, so this is all new to me. But this is part one. We will come back. I have to sift through the rest of the audio, and I will have some more delicious conversations from the long-expected party recorded in the unfinished, unexpected studio. So with that, we will see you guys in a week, and remember, Frodo lives.